Tongue roared with authority. There's no room for cowards in our Lin clan. A glorious death is better than a life of shame. The shaman appeared, his eyes full of suspicion as he looked at the fallen bodies. Tongue hurriedly said, "Shaman, please stop. Don't defile the glorious moment of these brave warriors." They were struck by Yin Qin's vicious sorcery. "This is their last breath." The shaman approached cautiously, examining each person before bellowing in fury. "This is nothing but common honeybee venom. You fools have been tricked." Tongue, filled with both rage and humiliation, gritted his teeth and roared, "Damn it, I swear I'll make that treacherous Yin Qin pay dearly." He yelled, urging his men, "After Yin Qin, don't let him escape." Qin ran for his life, gasping for breath as if on the verge of death. But he couldn't escape the relentless pursuit of the Lin clan. They caught glimpses of Qin's figure up ahead, but they all hesitated, afraid to continue the chase. Because the place Qin was desperately running towards was the territory of the East Mountain Beast King. Trespassing there would surely result in a ferocious attack. The captain roared, "What's happening?" Why did everyone stop? He realized with horror that ahead lay the forbidden East Mountain, the domain of the fearsome Beast King. Qin had inflicted heavy losses on the Lin clan. Returning empty-handed would bring shame and disgrace upon the entire clan. The pursuers were determined not to let him go. Ignoring the danger, they charged straight into the forbidden zone, swearing to capture Qin. By now, Qin was completely exhausted. Bent over, gasping for breath, his legs felt like lead. He realized with agonizing clarity that the physical endurance of a 12-year-old had reached its limit. The Lin clan members were hot on Qin's heels. The captain's furious voice boomed with rage. "Brat, you better stop right there. We'll grant you a quick death." Qin was truly trapped now. He had exhausted all his means of defense. "No one could save you today." Song's hateful voice rang out. The captain ordered his men to quickly eliminate. "Qin, we can't linger in this area for too long." Qin panicked, witnessing the glint of weapons rushing towards him from all directions. Seeing the sharp blades closing in with each passing moment, Qin thought his life would surely end here. Perhaps his journey through time would end at this very spot. Qin closed his eyes, resigning himself to fate, silently praying in his heart. "If I am reborn in the next life, please don't let me be a child again. Let me be an emperor, ruling over all under heaven." Suddenly, the aggressively charging men froze. Right in front of them, an earth-shattering roar of a beast ripped through the air. A colossal figure with thunderous footsteps appeared right behind Qin. The terrified captain stammered, "The Beast King of Dongshan." A legendary tale had long been circulating in the majestic Dongshan mountain range. Deep within the dark forest lurked a monstrous beast of incredible size. Whenever it roared, the earth trembled, its terrifying sound echoing across the three neighboring tribes. Its unmatched power terrified all creatures in the mountains, leaving them bougon defiant. Everywhere it stepped turned into a scene of utter devastation. Any monsters foolish enough to challenge its might were brutally tormented to death's door. Witnessing the colossal figure before him, the captain trembled uncontrollably. He was certain that the dreaded beast of Mount Dongshan had appeared. Qin Yueran was stunned to encounter the group of Lin people with looks of sheer terror in their eyes. They trembled, their gazes fixated on him, but it was as if they were looking right through him, at something behind him. Qin Yueran, startled, turned around. He saw a round, plump belly, incredibly familiar, the belly of Sister Panda, the lord of Mount Dongshan. The fearsome beast everyone spoke of was this adorable panda. Qin Yueran broke into a wide grin and whispered, "Oh my god, you're my lifesaver." Qin Yueran rushed towards the cuddly panda. The Lin people were rooted to the spot, their eyes wide with shock, believing Qin Yueran had lost his mind, daring to approach the lord of the mountain. Qin Yueran drew close and raised his hand in greeting to Sister Panda. The Lin clan captain's terrified voice shrieked, "That brat's insane. He dared to provoke the Beast King. He's dead for sure." Tong urged the Lin clan to flee immediately. Qin cheerfully greeted Sister Bear with a handshake and embraced her large, round belly. Qin said happily, "You came just in time." Witnessing the intimacy between Qin and the Beast King, the ferocious monster of legend, the entire Lin clan gaped in astonishment. What terrified them even more was the sight of Qin being hoisted onto the Beast King's shoulder. Sister Bear roared furiously as Qin recounted how those people had bullied him. Sister Bear's wrathful aura filled the Lin clan with absolute terror. Terrified, the Lin clan captain bellowed at his men to stay calm. Calm down. Everyone calm down. The Dongshan Beast King is just a big beast. Our glorious Lin clan warriors have nothing to fear. Brandishing his weapon, he charged towards Sister Bear, leading the attack. Kill! His furious roar echoed, inciting the crowd behind him like a spark igniting a wildfire. Suddenly, the entire mob froze, the air becoming eerily still and silent. Panic flooded their faces as they witnessed Sister Bear swing her powerful arm, slamming it directly into the captain. He face-planted into the dirt, humiliated and disgraced. Sister Bear roared furiously, her body radiating an intimidating, overwhelming energy. Qin cheered excitedly. Big sis, so you're the legendary Super Panda. Sister Bear effortlessly lifted the captain, tossing him like trash towards the Lin clan. The Lin clan's faces paled in sheer terror. They were petrified as Sister Bear, with lightning speed, appeared right behind them. Her massive paw descended, aimed squarely at their heads. Mystical oracle bone script materialized around Sister Bear, glowing with an eerie light. Her paw slammed into the ground, sending tremors through the earth, cracking it open. The Lin clan members were sent flying like kites with broken strings. The priest, standing at a distance, saw a Lin clan member hurtling towards him. Sister Bear. A smug look spread across Qin's face as he heard his idol praised as unparalleled in strength. Both joyfully celebrated their glorious victory, high-fiving each other with exuberance. Tung, who was lying unconscious nearby, suddenly jolted awake. Weapon in hand, he lunged forward with a furious roar. "You vile beast! Prepare tout dit!" Tung bellowed, his grip tightening around the hammer. With all his might, Tung swung the hammer, aiming a ferocious blow at Big Sister. But as he realized the hammer in his hand had snapped in two, frozen, Big Sister glanced at him with a contemptuous sneer. Then, she unleashed a terrifying blast of energy from her mouth, aimed directly at Tung. Outside, the priest, using his mystical arts, had witnessed everything that had just transpired. A malevolent energy seemed to coalesce around the priest. Qin suddenly turned, gazing into the distance. A premonition warned him of an impending, terrifying danger. Big Sister also sensed the dreadful aura approaching her, but it was still somewhat unclear. Suddenly, Qin saw a mass of black fog hurtling towards them at breakneck speed. He yelled to Big Sister, "Get out of here now. It's too late." Qin watched in horror as the strange mist tightly coiled around his arm. A searing pain, like burning fire, spread throughout his body. The mysterious mist seeped into his body through his arm, causing Qin to groan in agony before losing consciousness. He fell from Big Sis's shoulder, landing motionless on the ground. Big Sis wasn't faring much better. She was enveloped by the mist, transforming into a pure, white sphere. Time passed silently. The eerie mist seemed to have successfully invaded Big Sis's body, revealing her supple form. Big Sis lay still beside Qin, not moving an inch. The injured Lin tribesmen watched from afar, their faces etched with terror, but none dared to approach. The mysterious shaman only appeared after incapacitating Qin and Big Sis. He advanced towards Big Sis, plotting to use her strong body to create a terrifying puppet. With his wicked sorcery, he detected that Qin's life force was still faintly present. The shaman immediately prepared to finish him off. In a nick of time, the powerful woman suddenly awoke, her sharp eyes fixated on the GC performing the dark ritual. The horrified GC, still in shock, was struck by an immensely powerful attack from the formidable woman. The blow sent him sprawling backward, his body sliding across the ground. He continued to be pushed back, his body skidding across the cold earth. Seizing the precious opportunity, the powerful woman, despite her own injuries, struggled to help Qin escape the dangerous scene. They've escaped. After them, a Lin clan subordinate roared furiously. "No need to pursue," GC commanded coldly, his voice devoid of emotion. The powerful woman's critical attack had gravely wounded him. A sinister smile crept across his lips, confident that they were both consumed by dark power and death was only a matter of time. GC's true identity remained shrouded in mystery, and the dark power in this world was a forbidden force representing utter destruction. Nightfall descended, blanketing an eerie and mysterious mountain range. After escaping the pursuit of the ferocious Lin clan, the powerful woman, without rest, resolutely carried Qin to this place. After ensuring the surroundings were safe, the female warrior gently laid the unconscious Qin Wan on the ground. Exhausted and overcome by the encroaching darkness, she too collapsed, her delicate form falling beside Qin Wan. Time slipped by unnoticed. Who knew how long they lay there? A crystal-clear drop of water fell from the cave ceiling, gently landing on Qin Wan's forehead. At that moment, a sudden and unexpected change occurred. A mysterious object abruptly shot out from inside Qin Wan's head, rapidly absorbing the dark aura that had enveloped him. Qin Wan's body was now completely free of any trace of the evil energy. Sensing Qin Wan's imminent awakening, the mysterious object swiftly retreated back into his head. Qin Wan's eyes fluttered open, confusion clouding his features. He quickly checked himself over. "I'm all right," he exclaimed in astonishment. He turned to look for the female warrior, and panicked when he saw her lying motionless, her body slowly being consumed by the darkness. Qin Wan remembered the moments before he lost consciousness, how they had both been attacked by the terrifying dark aura. He decided to set out in search of food, hoping to help the female warrior recover. Qin stepped out of the cave and froze, his gaze fixed on what lay ahead. A frigid winter, with fog blanketing the path. A curtain of inky black mist was slowly spreading, creeping closer to him. Suddenly, an invisible aura seemed to emanate from Qin, repelling the encroaching black fog. It recoiled, shrinking back and dispersing in another direction. Qin stood still, observing a mass of purple mist coalescing. Gradually, it seemed to form a living entity, opening a blood-red eye that glared ferociously at him. An ear-splitting shriek pierced the air. The one-eyed mist lunged towards Qin with terrifying speed. In a heart-stopping moment, something unexpected and bizarre happened. A colossal foot materialized out of thin air, stomping down and crushing the dense fog. Terror and fear choked Qin, rendering him speechless. Before him, a monstrous figure was approaching, dwarfing Qin to the size of an ant. Despite the overwhelming fear, Qin gritted his teeth and stood his ground. Behind him lay Big Sister Panda, utterly exhausted after a life-or-death battle. Qin, he was certain that death was imminent. But surprisingly, the colossal figure halted, then gradually vanished in a thin air, leaving no trace behind. Qin, he stood frozen, bewildered, questioning if what he witnessed was an illusion or reality. The aura emanating from that enormous being was truly terrifying. As Qin, he turned to look around for the creature. It abruptly reappeared right behind him, nearly scaring him out of his wits. Big Sister Panda sensed the external danger. Worried for Qin, she struggled to get up. Qin, he rushed towards the anxious voice. "Don't move. You need to rest." "Why are you up?" Big Sister gestured towards the depths of the cave. Qin, he thought there might be something inside that could help Big Sister heal her wounds. He tried to support Big Sister Panda, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "She's too heavy. This isn't working." Qin Bao tightened his grip around the female warrior's legs, struggling to hoist her onto his back, though his body was stiff. Qin Bao persevered, painstakingly taking each step forward. But after one unsteady step, he tripped over a rock. They both tumbled to the ground. Qin Bao quickly reassured her. "Easy, easy, just a minor technical difficulty." Qin Bao tried again, his voice filled with determination. "You were injured because of me. I have to help you." He thought to himself, "This is the first time I've carried such a beautiful girl. If my brothers knew, they'd be green with envy." Qin Bao grunted with each strenuous step forward. After what felt like an eternity, he spotted a faint light ahead. Setting the warrior down, he gasped for air, exhausted. Up ahead, looks like some kind of altar. The warrior struggled to crawl towards the light source. The evil black smoke surrounding Big Sister Xiong Zhu gradually receded. Qin noticed the demonic aura visibly weakening. As his gaze shifted towards the altar, a surprising sight met his eyes. A bizarre skull resting on a stone pedestal. Qin surmised that this artifact was dispelling the dark miasma engulfing Big Sister. Big Sister Xiongju nodded, seemingly agreeing with Qin's deduction. Without hesitation, Qin reached out towards the mysterious skull. But at that very moment, the skull's eye sockets flashed with a blinding light. A powerful protective energy suddenly enveloped the skull. Qin was thrown back by the force, exclaiming in frustration, "Damn it, there's even a protective barrier." Qin gritted his teeth and charged forward again, only to be repelled once more. He was relentless, like a moth drawn to a flame, repeatedly attacking and being pushed back without pause. Sensing Big Sister's worry, Qin reassured her, "Don't be afraid. I promised I would help you, and I will." His face covered in blood, Qin roared with earth-shattering force. "Even the Jade Emperor himself can't stop me today." He mustered all his strength and lunged towards the pedestal. Mustering his remaining strength, Qin reached out and grabbed the skull. A murderous glint flashed in his eyes, an unparalleled aura of dominance radiating outwards. The protective barrier shattered into pieces. Qin stepped onto the stone platform, facing the ghostly skull. Suddenly, a new challenge appeared before him. It resembled the legendary Luoshu 9 Palaces. Qin looked at the skull and asked, "Do you want me to solve this puzzle?" He declared sternly, "Today, even if I have to move heaven and earth, or jump into a boiling cauldron of oil and fire, I will defeat you." Qin began to move the pieces on the board. But suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his body. He realized his time was running out. The dark energy on the older sister was gradually dissipating. Qin gritted his teeth in pain and growled, "I'll risk everything. If you don't heal Goju, don't blame me for being ruthless." He had reached the final step of the puzzle. Only the step of 9 to 2, 1 to move, 9 palaces remained. Qin's voice rang out, filled with unwavering determination and resolve. An unusual aura suddenly flared up, enveloping Qin's entire body, forcing him to squint from the intense brightness. Right before his eyes, a skull materialized, floating mysteriously in midair. The bizarre sight made Qin gasp in astonishment. "You? What in the world are you?" Suddenly, Qin noticed the wounds on his body gradually disappearing, replaced by a soothing, relaxing sensation spreading throughout his body. He murmured. In that very moment, Qin remembered Sister Xiongju, clinging to life and in dire need of immediate help. Clutching the mysterious skull, he rushed to Sister Xiongju's side. But then he panicked, completely clueless about how to use this treasure. There are no instructions whatsoever. Qin muttered in frustration. Suddenly, from the eye socket in the skull's forehead, a beam of pure light, carrying a divine aura, unexpectedly shot out, enveloping Sister Xiongju's entire body. The dark energy that was invading and consuming Sister Xiongju's body was swiftly repelled and vanished. Qin Xian joyfully ran to the powerful woman's side, overflowing with happiness. "Once you awaken, sister, you will once again be the ruler of Dongshan, with all beasts bowing before you. Victorious in every battle, your might will shake the heavens." But suddenly, the boy screamed in terror, his voice trembling with fear. Blood! Fresh blood was gushing from the powerful woman's body, staining the ground crimson. Meanwhile, at the Yin tribe, an emergency meeting was underway. A tense atmosphere filled the entire meeting space. Aaron reported to the chief and the two elders that no one knew Qin's whereabouts. He proposed forming a search party to immediately scour Dongshan for him. The first elder worriedly mused that Qin might be hiding somewhere nearby. He speculated that the boy was watching everyone, consumed by anxiety and uncertainty. The first elder suspected Qin was lurking close by, secretly observing the tribe's every move, just to witness their worry. However, when Aaron reported that they had searched every nook and cranny around the Yin tribe's territory, the chief became restless. If Qin was still on the mountain and had accidentally wandered into the dark lands, the consequences would be catastrophic. The first elder could no longer remain calm. He interrupted loudly. "That dark land is riddled with unimaginable dangers. That kid's definitely done for." The two elders maintained their composure, urging everyone to remain calm. It was too early to confirm Qin Xiu's death. He was exceptionally clever and resourceful. If he were still alive on the mountain, he would surely find a way to escape death's shadow. The grand elder bellowed impatiently. "What good is all this commotion? Gather 1,000,000 men, scour the mountain, leave no stone unturned." The remaining villagers dispersed, searching high and low. Once everyone had left, The village chief and the two elders remained, shrouded in silence. Suddenly, the two elders exchanged a cryptic smile. Back in the cave, Qin Xiu's clothes were stained crimson with Sister Xiongju's blood. He had tried everything, but he couldn't stop the bleeding. Why won't it stop? Qin Xiu worriedly muttered to himself. He comforted Sister Xiongju, assuring her everything would be all right. He decided to venture out in search of medicinal herbs. He needed to find herbs to staunch the bleeding and restore her vital energy. Sister, please rest and wait for me to return. Qin hastily ran out of the cave after finishing his words. Fortunately, the young man quickly found some herbs to stop bleeding and some wild fruits that could replenish energy. Using his adept survival skills, Qin also found a source of clean water. I'm back. Qin's voice was full of joy, echoing as he carried the food he had found towards his sister. But sudden horror washed over Qin, causing him to drop everything in his hands. Before his eyes, blood flowed profusely from his sister's body, and a small creature appeared on her. The newborn creature, sensing a stranger, let out a soft cry. Qin stammered, so is you pregnant? He suddenly understood the excruciating pain his sister had endured. In darkness to give birth to this little one, Qin offered the things he had painstakingly gathered, hoping his sister would eat and regain her strength. For the first time in her life, the panda matriarch experienced the joy of motherhood. Though still in pain, the matriarch's eyes gazed at her little cub with overflowing love and tenderness. Suddenly, around the little cub, a surge of pure, unadulterated energy materialized. This energy was quickly absorbed by the cub's tiny body. In the blink of an eye, the small infant transformed into an utterly adorable cub. Qin was utterly surprised to see that the cub wasn't afraid of him. Instead, it clung to him and climbed up to his chest. Looking at the cub, Qin blurted out that it was the spitting image of its mother, a true mini Super Saiyan. He held the cub in his arms, eagerly showing it off to the matriarch. Look, here's your son. In just a few years, this little guy will be magnificent and formidable, becoming a dominant force just like you are now, Qin declared proudly. The panda matriarch looked at her son with eyes full of affection, gently licking the cub's small face. The little cub sat beside them, intently listening to every word Qin said. Son, you must grow strong and mighty like your mother. Your mother is the Beast King, respected and honored by all. Qin said cheerfully to the cub, just wait until your mother recovers. I will make those barbaric Nyo clans suffer. They will learn what true cruelty is. Qin turned his head, his gaze fixed on Big Sister. From a while ago until now, Big Sister had remained silent, not uttering a single word. Qin furrowed his brow, a sense of unease rising within him. Big Sister Panda lay motionless without a stir. Qin was horrified to realize that Big Sister's heartbeat seemed to have stopped. Panicked, Qin thought to himself, that's right. I found the miracle medicine. I will definitely save you. Just wait for me a little longer. Qin hurriedly took out the precious herbs from his bag, turning to look at the little one. Qin comforted, don't worry, your mother will be all right. I'm here now. Suddenly, Big Sister Panda woke up. A gentle breath brushed against Qin's back. Big Sister is awake, Qin exclaimed with overwhelming joy. Big Sister looked at Qin for a long moment, her eyes filled with profound sadness, then slowly shook her head. She felt the life force within her gradually draining away. This awakening was only a final flicker of life. Qin looked at Big Sister, his whole body trembling, and tried to remain calm as he said, don't overthink it. You'll be fine. I'll definitely cure you. Qin comforted Big Sister Xiongju, firmly asserting that the dark mark had been completely removed. She was just suffering from postpartum weakness. Big Sister Xiongju tried to gently lick Xiao Bao Bao's soft fur. Qin continued, you just need to eat well and rest properly, and you'll gradually recover. Qin was surprised to see Big Sister gently push Xiao Bao Bao towards him. What are you doing? Qin asked in a panic. His voice trembled. Don't entrust the child to me like this. You have to take care of him yourself. Big Sister Xiongju looked at Qin with eyes full of regret and longing. Qin lowered his head, not daring to meet her gaze. I said I would cure you. Qin shouted indignantly. You may not trust others, but you have to trust me. Qin burst into tears, angrily punching the ground. A roar echoed, signaling the start of the Shan Hai clan's trial by ordeal. Beast of Dongshan, you lowly Neo clan members, none of you can challenge me. Qin looked up, tears welling in his eyes, his voice trembling. Hold on, just a little longer. Qin hung his head, sobbing uncontrollably. Wait for me. I will definitely find a cure for you. You still need to raise Xiao Bao Bao and teach him well to become the Lord of Danshan. As he realized Big Sister was slowly approaching, Qin burst into tears. You can't die. Big Sister Panda licked away the tears on Qin's face. Then her massive body slowly collapsed. No, Qin realized with horror that Big Sister's life force had completely vanished. He howled in anguish, his fists pounding the ground repeatedly to vent his pain. No, Qin roared in frustration. He never expected that protecting him would cost Big Sister her life. Looking at Big Sister's lifeless body, Tan wished for a miracle, something that could bring Big Sister back to life, so they could feast together again, savoring delicious bamboo shoots. He'd dig up as many as Big Sister wanted, until she was completely satisfied, seeing Tan weeping in sorrow. Little Bao Bao approached him, and with his tiny pink tongue, gently licked away his tears. Tan held Little Bao Bao close, embracing him tightly. He remembered Big Sister Panda's final wish. He told himself he still had much to do, that he couldn't wallow in grief forever. The image of Big Sister's killer was etched into his mind, a scar on his soul. His voice hardened with resolve as he addressed Big Sister Panda. Even though I couldn't save you, the one who committed this heinous crime will pay. I swear to heaven, that black-clad man will pay with his life. Ten clenched his fists, his teeth grinding. Even if he is a high-ranking priest, I will hunt him down and take his life. Looking at Big Sister Panda's lifeless body, Ten solemnly vowed to fulfill all the responsibilities she had entrusted to him. He was determined to raise Xiao Bao Bao into a powerful, majestic, and awe-inspiring panda, just like himself, as long as Qin still drew breath. He would never allow any dark force, not even the AI, to harm Xiao Bao Bao. After diligently digging with his bare hands, Qin finally finished building a resting place for his beloved older sister. As he gently scattered handfuls of earth, a choked farewell echoed in the air. We part ways here. Sister, rest in peace. Standing before the freshly built grave, Qin roared a solemn vow, determined to fulfill his promises of old. Qin called Xiao Bao Bao over to pay respects to his mother. Afterwards, he decided to take the child back to the Yin clan. Holding Xiao Bao Bao tightly, Qin gently reassured him that there, he held some power and influence, enough to protect and provide for him. Suddenly, a thought struck Qin. He needed to give Xiao Bao Bao a truly dominant and imposing name, so that no one would ever dare to underestimate or bully him. The innocent cub looked at Qin with a puzzled expression, while he was lost in thought, trying to come up with a name that not only exuded power, but also exuded a domineering aura that sent shivers down anyone's spine. After a moment of contemplation, Qin suddenly came up with a unique name, Guobao. And so, without any elaborate ceremonies, without incense or offerings, Xiao Bao Bao was officially named Guobao from that moment on. Placing Guobao on his shoulder, Qin started his journey back. Suddenly, his eyes were drawn to an object lying by the roadside, a skull. He remembered that this skull had the power to ward off dark forces. Qin decided to pick it up and take it with him, thinking it might be useful someday. The moment Qin lifted the skull, something strange and unexpected happened. Gazing into the deep, hollow sockets of the skull, Qin perceived mysterious symbols flickering within. They looked like fighting techniques, Qin muttered to himself, but he immediately realized he was mistaken. No, not fighting techniques, Qin exclaimed in astonishment. He realized it was an incredibly profound cultivation technique. An indescribable excitement surged within him. Could this be the legendary divine technique that people often speak of? Meanwhile, at the Yin tribe, the two elders rushed in and anxiously asked Aaron, what happened to the hunting party? Before him unfolded a scene of chaos. Aaron and the hunting party lay scattered on the ground, each bearing wounds. Aaron's voice was filled with regret and self-reproach. We not only failed to find Qin, but also caused the hunting party to suffer heavy losses. It's all because of my incompetence. The Grand Elder, sitting beside him, offered gentle comfort. Coming back alive is fortunate enough. Don't be so pessimistic and torment yourself. The clan leader ordered Aaron to recount the entire incident in detail. Aaron began his narration. When we ascended the mountain, we discovered a fragment of Qin's armor. But at that very moment, we were ambushed. The enemy was the Lin clan. Hearing this, all three men in the room were stunned into silence. The cane in the second elder's hand fell to the ground with a thud. His face paled, and he stammered, "Impossible. This can't be happening." The second elder's strange behavior made Aaron and the grand elder suspicious. Aaron continued his story. The Lin clan seemed to know all about our trap arrangements. The hunting party planned to use traps, but their target quickly escaped. The great elder roared in fury. How could this happen? How did the Lin clan learn of our plans? The clan leader turned to Aaron, seeking news of Qin. Aaron gritted his teeth and answered bitterly. Those cunning Lin clan bastards said they killed Qin. The dreadful news struck like a thunderbolt, leaving the clan leader and great elder stunned. Witnessing the elder's strange reaction, the clan leader furrowed his brow in deep thought. Just then, a clansman rushed in, breathlessly reporting, The Nyo clan is attacking us." The great elder bellowed. "This is surely a wicked plot against our Yin clan." Aaron said worriedly. "Everyone is badly injured. Where will we find the strength to fight?" The clan leader roared, "Panic not. All here are elite warriors of the Yin clan. If you cower, what will become of our tribe?" The imposing chieftain raised high the sacred staff, his ironclad oath echoing throughout the land, to fight to the last breath against any who dared violate their sacred territory. The chant of Haga, Haga, resonated, filled with fervent determination and a burning fighting spirit. At the same time, the mighty warriors of the Nyo clan had assembled, ready to engage and attack the enemy. Nyo expressed doubt and questioned Lin about the absence of the Lin clan members who were sent to ambush the Yin clan's hunting party. They hadn't returned yet. Lin confidently replied, his voice filled with certainty. "The high priest has other arrangements for them, a more important task." Lin patted Nyo's shoulder, comforting and reassuring his friend. "Don't worry, our current forces are strong enough to annihilate the entire Yin clan." Nyo remained worried, his face etched with concern, but Lin firmly asserted, "Don't overthink it. Just wait until the Yin clan is completely destroyed, and everything will fall into place." Nyo stood proudly on the high hill, valiantly bolstering the fighting spirit of his clansmen, inspiring their courage. Lin stood silently beside him, his eyes deep and cunning fixed on Nyo. A flicker of unpredictable slyness glinted in his eyes. Meanwhile, in the Nyo clan's territory, the Yin clan forces were surrounded by the ferocious Lin clan warriors. After successfully ambushing the Yin clan hunting party, they lay in wait, anticipating the perfect moment to strike. The mighty Nyo clan army charged into the fray, unleashing a bloody massacre. One of the Lin clan warriors spoke up. The sarcastic ritual. The elder, fearing treacherous activity, sent us here to stand guard. Witnessing the brutal torture of his people, Li erupted in fury. "This is how you protect us? Hypocrites!" As Li struggled to his feet, the Lin clan members immediately attacked, determined to take down the defiant warrior. Li roared with indignation. "You want to kill me? With just you lot? You're dreaming." Li skilling den exploda. He was resolute. Even if it meant death, he would take some of them down with him. "Careful, he's going all out. Avoid direct combat." A Lin clan member shouted a warning. Li seized the opportunity, escaping the encirclement with lightning speed. He was determined to find Nyo, to inform him of the Lin clan's betrayal of their pact. Back in the cave, where Qin was standing, he held a human skull, his voice full of doubt. Could this be the secret to ultimate martial arts? Suddenly, a blinding light flashed from within the empty sockets of the skull. Before Qin could throw it away, the beam of light pierced straight into his head. An overwhelming and irresistible wave of drowsiness washed over him. Qin collapsed to the ground, sinking into a deep slumber. In his unconsciousness, Qin awoke in a dazed and disoriented state. The black hole reappeared before his eyes. Above it, countless human-shaped symbols practicing martial arts. Where was this? Qin wondered, growing more bewildered as he watched the symbols gradually converge and form the shape of a human. He froze, realizing the figure bore a striking resemblance to himself. What the hell was going on? Intrigued, Qin rushed towards the mysterious figure, but his hand passed right through as if it were merely an illusion. Suddenly, the figure vanished, leaving only the deep black hole before him. Then, it quickly dissolved into Qin's body. He was completely lost, unsure of what was happening. Qin's eyes suddenly flashed with a mysterious green light. A massive surge of information flooded his mind like a raging torrent. At the Yin tribe, the situation was extremely critical, tense to the point of suffocation. Yin, leading a valiant band of warriors, stepped forward. His voice was filled with indignant rage directed towards Niu. Do you foresee the consequences of your actions? The harsh winter is coming. Neither tribe can endure any more losses. Do you intend to plunge everyone into misery and shared suffering? Niu, unfazed, calmly replied. Today, the only ones who will suffer misfortune are you, the Yin tribe. Seeing Niu's unwillingness to reconcile, Yin loudly questioned, do you not fear the ancestral god's punishment? Niu coldly retorted, punishment? The ancestral god has always only protected the strong. Only the strong are worthy of wielding the totem pole and ruling the hunting grounds. You, the Yin tribe, are not qualified. At this moment, Lin, standing beside Niu, advised him to stop wasting his breath on Yin. Lin's appearance caused a wave of unease to wash over Yin. Yin roared in fury. You dare to send people to attack our hunting party and even collude with the Niu clan to surround us? What exactly are you planning? Lin let out a cold laugh. I'm not here for just a measly hunting ground, like you so loudly proclaim. I want not only this hunting area, but this entire land, including the Yin clan's totem pole, to belong to us. Your entire Yin clan will kneel and serve us as slaves, or face only one fate, death. These insulting words, Lin's condescending tone, enraged the Yin clan members. They roared, each wanting to charge forward and fight to the death against the enemy. A furious fire ignited within Yin, his voice echoing throughout the entire tribe. I, Ba, Akue Yin, chieftain of the Yin clan, swear before our ancestral god that I will never allow our tribe to suffer this humiliation. Warriors of the Yin clan, fight for the glory of our tribe, vowing not to back down. Yin and the valiant warriors of his tribe charged towards the enemy with a ferocious momentum, like a wildfire spreading across the battlefield. Niu immediately ordered his clan to attack, determined to annihilate the stubborn Yin tribe. Kill them all. Aaron roared with fury, ignoring his profusely bleeding wounds. He led the hunters into the fierce battle. The two elders didn't hesitate either, immediately entering a battle-ready stance. War cries filled the air, the clang of weapons echoing throughout the space, throwing the entire Yin tribe into chaos. Witnessing his tribe surrounded by the Niu tribe, Yin was consumed by rage. He roared, if you have the guts, face me one-on-one. What's so glorious about ganging up? The Niu tribe mocked his challenge. Do you think this is a joke? Prepare to bow your heads and die. With that, the Niu tribe ferociously charged forward, weapons swinging, determined to send the entire Yin clan to their ancestors. Aaron struggled to his feet, but the agonizing pain from his wound made him cry out in agony. A ferocious Niu clansman stepped forward and delivered a powerful kick to Aaron's body. With a contemptuous voice, he mocked Aaron of the Yin clan. Aren't you supposed to be strong? Why don't you fight back? The Niu clan was determined to slaughter all the valiant warriors of the Yin clan. The surviving clansmen would be taken as slaves. Lin stood off to the side, indifferently observing the fierce battle between the Niu and Yin clans. Dodging an attack from the Yin clan, Niu sneered, is that all you've got? He took a deep breath, channeling all his internal force into his arms, and unleashed a deadly attack towards the Yin clan. He was certain that the old man wouldn't be able to withstand him. Yin was struck and collapsed to the ground. Niu forced him to witness the brutal torture of his clansmen, being beaten and humiliated. His goal was to completely crush Yin's spirit, to break him, to make him lose his will to fight, to surrender everything. But Yin wasn't one to be easily subdued. He mustered all his remaining strength, lunging towards Niu with a deadly claw attack, like the sweep of the Grim Reaper's side. Yan's fierce resistance infuriated Niu. He unleashed an incredibly heavy blow, carrying earth-shattering power. But Yin met his gaze with unwavering defiance. Even with my last breath, I'll drag you down to hell with me. Even in death, I won't let you rest. Yin roared furiously, one hand clamping down on Yo's head, the other transforming into a razor-sharp claw poised to crush his skull. Sensing imminent danger, Neo frantically cried out to Lin for help. Lin didn't immediately intervene, but turned to consult the esteemed high priest. Yan's advancing claw suddenly vanished into thin air. He was thrown backward by an immensely powerful force. It turned out Lin had appeared just in the nick of time to rescue Neo. Ignoring Lin's unreadable expression, Neo hastily warned, "Don't underestimate this old man. He's fighting like a cornered animal. Let's join forces and destroy him." Lin looked at Yan, his voice brimming with confidence. "I still can't comprehend why you've confined yourself to this shell of mediocrity for so long." Yin remained silent, offering no reply, only staring at them with dagger-sharp eyes, as if trying to pierce through their very souls. Nyo roared impatiently. "What's with all the talk? Kill him." With that, he summoned the power of the Colossus Totem, transforming into a towering giant. Lin scoffed mockingly. "If you'd used your treasure earlier, you wouldn't be in this pathetic state." Watching the two enemies aggressively charge towards him, Yin focused all his energy, summoning Crimson Fire Wings with astonishing speed, charging straight towards Nyo. Lin realized with horror that Yin was launching a suicidal attack, completely forsaking defense, focusing solely on ferocious, deadly blows. Yan's roar echoed with an earth-shattering explosion that engulfed Nyo. "Yin, you truly are old," Lin's shrill voice echoed from behind. Trapped between two powerful enemies, Yin was in a deadly predicament, caught between a rock and a hard place. Lin unleashed his vicious devilwood ultimate attack. The wicked blow pierced straight through Yan's shoulder. "Old man, just obediently go meet the king of hell," Lin roared ferociously. Despite the excruciating pain, Yin used his bare hands to snap the vine that impaled him, refusing to let his opponent easily end his life. In that precarious moment, from behind, seizing the opportunity while Yin was unguarded, Neo fiercely used his massive hands to tightly grip the old general's legs. Without hesitation, he lifted Yan's entire body high and slammed him onto the rock-hard ground. Boom! Lin, who had just received a signal from Neo, immediately charged forward like a wild beast. He launched countless razor-sharp vines towards Yin, giving him no time to react. In the blink of an eye, Wu Yin was completely entangled by the vines, like a fly caught in a spiderweb. Lin turned to Neo, his voice ice-cold as he commanded, "Neo, bury this old man alive for me." Neo tightened his grip on Wu Yan's bound body, his voice filled with savage glee. "Give up, Wu Yan. Your Yin clan is far too weak. Your struggles are futile. A pathetic clan like yours was born to be nothing more than slaves to the strong." Illusory flames flickered to life around Wu Yan, his voice thick with indignation. "Do you think slavery is so easily accepted? As long as I still draw breath, the Yin clan will never be extinguished." With his final word, a colossal flame erupted, breaking Wu Yin free from his bonds. He stood tall, his gaze sharp as a blade, fixed on his enemies. "The Yin clan will never submit to slavery." Lin clapped his hands, a mocking smile spreading across his face. "Aubrey, well said." He turned to Yin, his voice dripping with mockery. "After all these years, your temperament hasn't changed one bit." Lin then turned and signaled to his subordinates behind him. "Let this old Yin clan geezer witness firsthand the sight of his clansmen being turned into slaves." A member of the Yin clan, bound in heavy chains, collapsed to the ground. Yin angrily shouted at them, calling them cowardly villains who dared to resort to such despicable and underhanded tactics. The Great Elder was also being trampled underfoot by the ferocious Neo clan warriors. They had planted spies within the Yin clan long ago, and now the entire village was under their control. Lin raised his weapon towards the bound villagers, his voice menacing. "Yin, if you dare resist any further, I will kill them one by one. One act of defiance, one life taken. Resist together, and you'll all die together." Hearing Yin call him despicable, Lin scoffed. "A warrior is only called a warrior when he defeats his enemy, no matter the methods used." Wu Yin roared furiously, attacked. He lunged towards the defenseless villagers, who had no way to fight back. Such cowardly tactics. Lin scoffed, retaliating with a swift kick that sent Wu Yin flying. He taunted, "Why haven't you made a move yet? A flame tribe warrior never retreats." Wu Yin bellowed. With Lin threatening the villagers' lives, Wu Yin could only grit his teeth and endure, his heart filled with hatred. The two Flame tribe elders were suffering the same fate as Wu Yan. Unable to resist, they could only cover their heads and brace for the blows. Witnessing this scene, the Flame tribe people were filled with indignation. A bound woman cried out, "Akue, don't worry about us. The Flame tribe will never be slaves." A Flame tribe warrior knows no cowardice. Hearing this, Neo roared menacingly, "Silence! Anyone who dares to make a sound will be executed immediately." But the brutal threat didn't faze the villager. He lunged forward and with all his might bit down hard on Neo's hand. Enraged, Neo immediately stomped the brave villager to death. Witnessing the barbaric act, the remaining villagers were filled with rage and rose up as one, charging towards their enemy. Neo realized his intimidation tactics had completely failed. The priest beside him suggested a plan to eliminate the entire stubborn Yin tribe. But Neo hesitated. These people were the spoils of his invasion. The priest looked at Neo with murderous eyes, his voice icy. "You need to think this through carefully. Compare to everything you're about to achieve. What are these few slaves worth?" Hearing this, Neo remained silent, not daring to argue. At that moment, Lin waved his hand and commanded, "Kill them all." The agonizing screams of the Yin tribe filled the air. The two elders watched in horror at the bloody scene unfolding before them. Before being slain by the enemy, the woman screamed with all her remaining strength, "The Yin people will never be slaves." A fierce Neo warrior approached Yin, his voice menacing, "Bow down. Abandon your futile resistance. I will spare the Yin people. Only if you surrender. Only then can the Yin people survive. Otherwise, only annihilation awaits." Hearing the Neo warrior's words, Yin slowly retracted his surging aura. His fists clenched, his voice choked with resignation. "Brave warriors of the Yin tribe, this is my final command to you as your Azue. For the sake of our people's lives, which are in the enemy's hands, I order you all to lay down your arms and submit to them." Yin prepared to end his own life, to exchange it for the lives of his entire tribe. He blamed himself, believing he was unworthy of being the Azue of the Yin tribe. Suddenly, a roar echoed in Yan's ears. "Ancestor spirits, protect us. The Yin tribe will never die." It was the collective roar of the entire imprisoned and oppressed village. A man, without hesitation, threw himself onto a sharp blade, stood before the thugs and roared, "I pray to our ancestors to protect the Yin tribe and grant us eternal existence." They didn't want to drag the brave Yin warriors into a deadly vortex, so they decided to sacrifice themselves. The flame of the Yin tribe will burn forever, never extinguished. Hongjie, Unga. The remaining villagers also charged forward fearlessly, risking their lives. Yin gritted his teeth, tears streaming down his face. Witnessing the villagers' courage, Lin began to feel terrified. He turned to the priest for guidance. The priest coldly ordered a massacre. If they want to die, then grant them their wish. Neo vehemently protested. He argued that if they annihilated the entire Yin tribe, they would have no slaves left to command. The priest scorned Neo for his short-sightedness, only focused on trivial spoils. He believed the best way to subdue an enemy was to instill terror in them, making them too afraid to raise their heads. Neo countered that if they slaughtered the entire Yin tribe, the Neo tribe's victory will be meaningless. "This is an order." The priest's voice boomed with authority and coldness. He commanded Neo and Lin. Lin, with a puzzled expression, questioned the superior. "Must we truly slaughter them all?" The priest retorted with disdain, "Coward, do you still desire to become the great Akue of the tribe?" He commanded ruthlessly, "Annihilate the entire Yin tribe. Leave no one alive." Lin immediately bowed his head in subservient obedience. "Kill!" His voice, filled with brutality, commanded his subordinates below. A Yin warrior screamed in agony. "No!" Witnessing the Yin warriors charging with their weapons, determined to fight to the death against their enemies, they roared defiantly. "We Yin people would rather die than be slaves to Akue. Leave us." Aaron lay there helplessly, tears streaming down his face, his voice a weak plea. Please don't go there. I beg you, don't go there." The two elders bowed their heads, collapsing to the ground. Is this the cruel fate that the Yin clan must endure? The bodies of valiant warriors lay scattered across the battlefield, crimson blood staining the ground. Suddenly, the Grand Elder saw the clan leader standing silently in the distance. The clan leader swayed, his voice echoing across the vast space. "Brother, The Grand Elder choked out, his voice thick with sobs. He called out to his elder brother with a voice filled with sorrow, seemingly understanding the clan leader's intentions. The clan leader stood in silence, witnessing his people fall. His calm yet resolute voice rang out, steady and unwavering. Everyone instantly recognized the tragic melody, the Yin clan's sacrificial war song. The Grand Elder leaped to his feet, raising his hand and shouting, "Flame of the Yin clan." The second elder echoed the cry, "Flame of the Yin clan." Aaron gritted his teeth, joining in with steely determination. "Burn to ashes." Koi and DM, tears welling in their eyes, joined the battle cry. At that moment, Yin fell into a strange, trance-like state. Behind him, the image of a malevolent flame gradually materialized, powerful and terrifying. A ferocious roar ripped through the air. Li Jian roared back in defiance and resilience. The surviving clan members chanted relentlessly, "Yin clan, never surrender." An unyielding spirit, forever refusing to submit to any force. The demonic aura surrounding Yin grew increasingly ferocious and terrifying. He had sacrificed his soul in exchange for the resurrection of the entire Yin clan. Atop a towering mountain, a figure moved with lightning speed, as quick as a flash. The figure flickered in and out of sight like a whirlwind. It turned out to be Qin and Guobao. Qin turned to Guobao with a determined gaze. "You must always remember, you have a great mother. She was the renowned Beast King of Dongshan. You must also become as strong and resilient as your mother." It was unclear whether Guobao understood Qin's words. It gently licked Qin's face, showing affection. Qin silently promised Guobao that he would fulfill its mother's unfinished wishes. "The road ahead is long. We will face all hardships together, side by side." Qin carried Guobao on his back, moving swiftly like lightning across the ancient trees. He told Guobao, "That evil priest is the one who murdered your mother. He will definitely pay for his crimes." He was dashing forward like an arrow loosed from a bow, when suddenly Guobao cried out, making Qin confused. When they came to, they realized they had smashed their faces into a giant rock. Qin clutched the lump on his head, groaning in pain. It seemed Guobao wasn't faring much better. Qin picked up a rock fragment. He suddenly realized it looked incredibly familiar. He brought it to his mouth and tentatively tasted it. A salty, bitter taste instantly spread across his tongue. The taste of salt. Qin exclaimed excitedly. This major discovery offered a new glimmer of hope for preserving meat. By drying it, the perplexing problem of food storage could be solved. Quickly gathering a few pieces of salt, Qin hurriedly hoisted Guobao onto his back and ran straight towards the Yin tribe to share the news. Meanwhile, Li had just escaped the Lin tribe's pursuit and was also on his way back to the Yin tribe. Just past this dense forest, he would be home. Li was determined to warn Ah Chui about the Lin tribe's sinister plot. Suddenly, Li sensed a strange energy emanating from the Yin tribe. A sense of foreboding washed over him, a suspicion that something was terribly wrong. In the territory of the Yin tribe, Yan's aura grew increasingly sinister, saturated with a dark and malevolent energy. Fresh blood dripped from his hand, staining the short blade crimson. Yan stood imposingly in the center of a mystical formation. Four imposing statues surrounded him, their eyes tightly shut. A chilling, ominous aura emanated from the statues, filling Neo and Lin with dread. "It's darkness," the high priest exclaimed. He recognized the artifact in Yan's hand as belonging to a terrifyingly powerful dark force. Suddenly, one of the statues opened its eyes. "The four evil guardians do Mu Xing Hung," the high priest roared. "We must destroy him immediately." With each statue that opened its eyes, Yan's power multiplied exponentially. Outside the formation, Chui recoiled in terror, sensing the horrifying dark energy radiating from Yan. The Grand Elder sighed mournfully. "Ah, Chui, he has fallen to darkness." Yan's hands morphed into terrifyingly sharp claws. He effortlessly deflected Lin's attack and absorbed its energy completely. Neo, with his protective totem, charged forward, unleashing a powerful punch at Yin to rescue Lin. Yin roared in fury, his rage erupting as his power flow was disrupted. Just then, another statue suddenly opened its eyes. Yan's energy surged once more, causing his form to gradually lose its human shape, becoming grotesque. Chui panicked and anxiously asked the Grand Elder, "Why has Ah Chui become like this?" The Grand Elder responded gravely, "After this battle, Ah Chui's soul will never return to Mother Earth. Chui was stunned, realizing with horror that a soul trapped in darkness is a fate worse than death. Yin had completely transformed into a bloodthirsty monster. He lunged forward with terrifying speed, severing Nio's magma arm. Lin, weapon in hand, bravely charged forward to fight, but Yin flung him to the ground and then hurled him straight into Nio. Nio and Lin turned to the high priest and shouted indignantly, "High priest, why haven't you intervened yet?" Yin threw back his head and roared, a chilling sound, his sharp fangs bared in a gruesome snarl. The third statue opened its eyes. Lin gasped in horror. The third one. A deafening explosion ripped through the air. The tremendous force sent both Nio and Lin flying. Before them, Yin radiated a dark and ominous aura, filling them with absolute terror. As the thick smoke and dust slowly cleared, Yin had completely transformed into a monstrous, humanoid creature, ferocious and terrifying. Lin turned to Nio, his voice filled with worry. "Can we even keep fighting?" Having been ruthlessly crushed by Yin earlier, Nio refused to accept defeat. He once again summoned his totem spirit, merging with it. An unparalleled power surged through Nio's body. Gritting his teeth, Nio charged straight towards Yin, fist clenched. Yin didn't hesitate. He unleashed a powerful punch to counter Nio's attack. Then he spun around and executed a deadly coiling dragon strike, sending Nio's massive body flying. Seeing his people mourning for their leader, the great elder roared like thunder. A brave flame tribe warrior never sheds a tear. Ago has sacrificed his soul. What we need to do now is to give him courage. What good is it to sit here and mourn? The entire flame tribe turned towards Yin, chanting his name relentlessly. Yin immediately shot forward, delivering a thunderous punch to Nio's chest, shattering the sturdy, colossal rock armor. Yin ferociously charged towards the staggering Nio. Nio scrambled to his feet, horrified. Such terrifying speed. Steadying himself, Nio roared defiantly. "Come on!" Yin didn't hesitate, charging like a tornado and unleashing a flurry of punches at Nio. Then, Yin channeled all his strength into a fatal blow, striking Nio directly in the chest. Suffering such a devastating attack, Nio couldn't help but cough up a mouthful of blood. Nio, with a smug and triumphant look, asked Yin, "Out of options now, are you?" His voice boomed with arrogance. "This rhinoceros spirit armor becomes even stronger each time it's attacked. This is my ultimate form." Looking at the iron-hard armor plating on his chest, he confidently declared Yin incapable of breaking through it. Yin roared in frustration, powerless against Nio's stubborn defense. Nio spun around, unleashing a furious dragon assault kick aimed directly at Yan's chest. The kick landed with terrifying force, sending a shock through Nio. Cracks began to spiderweb across the armor he was so proud of. Yan's brutal attack sent Nio flying backward, crashing pathetically to the ground. Clutching his wounds, Nio gasped in horror. How is this possible? How could my impenetrable stone armor not withstand a single blow from this old man? Just then, Lin appeared behind him, warning Nio, "Don't just stand there gawking." Looking towards the 4 stone statues, 3 of which now had their eyes open. Both understood that Nio alone was no match for the awakening power. Lin summoned the demon with spirit, combining its power with Nio to form a formidable fighting alliance. The iron-hard stone armor on Nio was reinforced with another layer of sturdy defense by the evil energy of the demon wood. Lin placed the demon rock axe in Nio's hands. He roared with resentment and hatred. "Prepare tout dit, Yin." Nio charged straight towards Yin, swinging the axe down with earth-shattering force. The terrifying force from the attack caused the ground behind Yin to crack open, forming deep fissures. Nio was confident that with his and Lin's combined strength, along with the power of the demon rock axe, Old Man Yin would have a hard time escaping this calamity and would surely die here. The thick smoke and dust quickly dispersed. Yin still stood tall and indomitable amidst the battlefield, completely unharmed. He used only one hand to catch the sharp axe blade as it came crashing down, creating a terrifying scene. Witnessing this unbelievable sight, Nio was utterly terrified. His voice trembled in astonishment. How is this possible? This old man, with just one hand, he was able to block the demon rock axe, empowered by the strength of both of us? Yin roared furiously, his roar like thunder echoing throughout the space. His muscular arms bulged, veins popping out. Mustering all his strength, Yin pushed the demon rock axe back towards Nio with incredible force. Lin's voice echoed from afar. Neo, hold on. The demonwood formation is almost complete. The newly summoned demonwood vines lunged forward, ensnaring Neo's body. Just as the demonic scythe was about to strike him, Neo let out a thunderous roar. Demonwood, transform. Thanks to Lin's timely support, Neo successfully summoned the Mountain King's shield, erecting a formidable barrier. Seeing Yin ferociously charging forward, intent on destroying the Mountain King's shield, Lin smirked cunningly. You've fallen into my trap. Yin lunged with terrifying speed, aiming for a fatal blow, but his arm was sucked tightly into the Mountain King's shield. Watching Yin scream in frustration, unable to pull his arm free, Lin approached, his voice dripping with triumph. Behold the power of the Mountain King's shield, forged from the combined might of the demon wood and the pangolin spirit armor. Yin roared in fury, gnashing his teeth. Then he lashed out with the sharp tails on his back, slamming them against the Mountain King's shield. Useless. Even that move couldn't stop me, Lin Jing exclaimed in terror. Neo witnessed Yan's earth-shattering power. Lin thought to himself, his only option left was to use his ultimate technique. He roared at Neo. We have to combine our forces. Neo roared furiously. The horde of wood demons and stone giants charged towards Yan like a tempest. Lin also poured all his Jun Yuan into this technique and shouted, Overlord's Cauldron! His voice was filled with determination. In the blink of an eye, Yan's entire body was enveloped and submerged by the Overlord's Cauldron. The combined attack had depleted a significant portion of Neo's Yuan Qi. The stone giant totem was also neutralized. Lin patted Neo's shoulder smugly and said, The Overlord's Cauldron is a fusion of our two strongest techniques. Our ultimate totem. It can definitely crush that old man. Now we just need to wait for the high priest to complete the ritual. Lin looked up and noticed the terrifying, murderous aura emanating from Yin Zhao, still covering the entire sky. Lin's voice was filled with doubt. That old geezer, Yin Zhao, should have been sealed by us. So why isn't this battle over yet? Lin felt extremely bewildered. Just then, cracks suddenly appeared on the Overlord Peak. Yin Zhao was trying to incinerate it with his flame fire. Both exclaimed in horror, How is this possible? The Overlord Peak seemed unable to hold on any longer. An earth-shattering explosion resounded. Neo and Lin were thrown to the ground by the tremendous force of the explosion. Cries of pain echoed. The dust and smoke gradually cleared. Yin Zhao slowly walked out. His hands tightly gripped the necks of Neo and Elder Lin. He noticed that the fourth stone pillar had opened its eye. Yin Zhao screamed in agony in the middle of his forehead. His third eye was gradually opening. Witnessing this horrifying scene, Lin despaired, believing they were all doomed. But just at that critical moment, a terrifying dark aura began to converge behind Yin. A chillingly deep, dark abyss suddenly materialized. The Grand Elder initially thought it was a formidable power summoned by Yin, but in a flash, he sensed a dangerous anomaly. The Grand Elder screamed in terror, Ague, careful, danger, but it was too late. A lightning-fast attack burst forth from the black hole. Yan's arm was severed in an instant. The third eye on his forehead seemed to be severely damaged as well. Its energy was gradually weakening and closing. Yan's severed arm transformed back into a dark weapon. Enduring excruciating pain, Yan trembled violently. A blood-curdling scream echoed. What a pity! A cold voice resonated from within the black hole. A priest with a cruel expression stepped out of the black hole, appearing before Yin. He smirked. You were one step too slow. A ghostly sound emanated from the dark weapon. The ambitious and greedy priest. Unbelievable. The small Yin tribe possessed such a miraculous treasure. Witnessing the jubilant expression of the Yin priest, he roared with fury. Wu Yin tormented himself, powerless, unable to eliminate a single enemy throughout the past period. He glared hatefully at the imprisoned Yin clan members, as the priest's cruel voice echoed ominously. To become sacrifices to the darkness. You should feel honored. To be offered to our void ancestor, shouldn't you? Surrendering to the darkness is the ultimate glory. Suddenly, a figure darted forward with lightning speed, snatching a spear from a Neo clan member. It was Li. He had found the Yin clan. Li hurled the spear directly at the priest. As a sharp spearhead flew towards the priest's face, he reached out to block Li's attack. But Li swiftly exploited this opening, delivering a powerful punch straight to the priest's face. Taking the full brunt of the devastating blow, the dark artifact in the priest's hand flew out, landing right in front of the Yin clan members. Caught off guard by Li's attack, the priest staggered to his feet, roaring in fury. "You insignificant brat! You overestimate yourself." An invisible surge of energy suddenly emanated from the high priest, overpowering Li, leaving him unable to resist. He was knocked back, sprawling onto the ground. Nyo rushed to Li's side, her voice filled with outrage. "Li, are you crazy? How dare you attack the high priest?" Li winced in pain, struggling to speak. "Nyo, the Koi Lam clan, they betrayed us." Hearing Li's faint words, Nyo couldn't believe her ears. She leaned in closer, desperate to hear more clearly. Li cried out in horror as he saw a long spear pierce through Nyo's chest from behind. The attacker was Lin. Contempt was etched across his face. "Such meager skills, and you dare to challenge us?" Blood stained her wound crimson. Nyo's voice trembled. Lin, you betrayed me." Lin showed no remorse. Instead, he spoke with a smug grin. "Betrayal? How laughable. Didn't you once say that? The weak are not worthy of the ancestral god's protection." Lin Tian's arrogant tone dripped with disdain. "The trash of your tribe are only fit to be stepping stones for my Lin clan." Hearing Patriarch Lin Tian's decree, the bloodthirsty Lin clan members roared with excitement. "Kill them. The Nyo and Yin clans must die." Mo Wang's eyes were bloodshot with rage. He furiously realized the Lin clan's earlier envoy was a ploy to target the Nyo clan. The Yin clan's Grand Elder was also horrified. The Lin clan had used the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the Oriole behind tact. The sky suddenly darkened. A malevolent aura descended once more. "What's happening?" Lin Tian's voice was filled with terror. Another voice cried out in fear. "That pillar. The fourth pillar has opened its eyes," a trembling voice announced. All eyes were drawn to the malevolent energy flowing towards the four statues. The high priest realized the sacred seal had been broken once again. He roared in fury. "Who dares commit such a heinous act?" The Grand Elder immediately sensed an unusual aura emanating from the two elders. Something sinister was at play. Upon discovering the dark artifact clutched in the hands of the two elders, the Grand Elder's voice boomed with urgency. "Release that at once." But the two elders held the artifact firmly, their eyes gleaming with unusual determination. He had accepted death. The tragic deaths of countless Yin clan members had left him with no desire to live. He confessed to being the one who secretly informed the Nyo clan about the map, revealing all the secrets of the Dongshan Mountains and Qin's whereabouts. His earth-shattering confession left everyone in utter shock. The clan leader looked at the two elders with eyes filled with pain. Though he had harbored suspicions, he never imagined the truth would be so devastating. Another clansman roared in fury. "Traitor, you're no longer worthy of being a Yin clan member." The Grand Elder immediately intervened, demanding everyone remain calm and give the floor to the two elders, urging them to explain the situation clearly. Yin, the grandson of the two elders, still couldn't believe what was unfolding before his eyes. His grandfather, a man respected and revered by the entire clan, could commit such an act of betrayal against them. The two elders turned to their grandson, their voices filled with sorrow. "Yin, you wouldn't understand. We had no other choice. Qin was too exceptional. If he had lived, you would never have the chance to become the successor of the Yin clan." The Grand Elder couldn't believe that. For such a reason, they could willingly betray the entire clan. Choked with emotion, confessed that he did everything for his only grandson. Betraying the clan is a crime punishable by death and the extermination of one's entire family. And now, I wish to use my death to atone for my sins. I apologize to all members of the clan. The Grand Elder was at a loss for words. Yin collapsed to his knees, tears streaming down his face like rain. He couldn't accept the fact that his grandfather had to die. The second elder looked at his grandson, his voice filled with immense sorrow. "Someone must take responsibility today. Otherwise, the Yin clan will be annihilated by the priest, and then you won't be able to survive either." He wanted to trade his life for the Yin clan's peace. "For your chance to live, Yin. To give you, his grandson, a chance at life." He wanted to use his blood and soul to atone for all the sins he committed, so that the clan would no longer make things difficult for you. Yeon screamed in despair, grandfather. But the second elder couldn't bear to see his grandson suffer any longer. He closed his eyes and sighed softly. "Live well, Yin. That is my final blessing for you." He gritted his teeth, gripped the dark artifact tightly and plunged it into his chest. The third eye in the middle of the old man's forehead slowly opened. A terrifying wave of dark energy surged, engulfing the entire space. The horrific pressure from the dark energy crashed down, causing the Lin clan members to drop like flies. Witnessing the horrifying scene, Lin frantically turned to the shaman for help. The shaman's cold voice rang out. Upon hearing the command, the Lin clan warriors charged forward, weapons in hand. But suddenly, a gigantic tail swept across, coiling around the warriors and squeezing them tight, instantly suffocating them. 3 bodies were ruthlessly thrown to the ground. The perpetrator of this horrific act was Dabai, now transformed into a monstrous, one-eyed beast. Witnessing the brutal slaughter of his subordinates, the shaman felt deeply offended. He roared in fury, "Kill it! Kill it for me!" With that, he lunged at the beast, attacking, seemingly sensing the danger. The beast took a deep breath and unleashed a sonic wave directly at the shaman. The shaman took the full brunt of the attack, screaming in agony. The beast's attack not only inflicted physical damage, but also directly assaulted his spirit, leaving his soul gravely wounded. As he regained consciousness, the beast lunged at him, too close to dodge. He barely managed to erect a defensive barrier, but the flimsy protection was instantly shattered by the beast's monstrous blow. The priest shrieked in agony, his battered body collapsing backward. Before he could get up, the beast's massive foot slammed down on his chest with a crushing blow. The monster roared in fury, opening its jaws to strike. Sensing death closing in, he desperately reached out, summoning the shadows, transforming them into a multitude of sharp weapons, hurling them towards the beast. The beast's third eye suddenly opened wide. It unleashed a spell, a formation, roaring towards the sky. The sharp weapons, before they could reach their target, were completely obliterated by the sonic attack. The priest was consumed by sheer terror, overwhelmed by the beast's terrifying power. Suddenly, Yin appeared in his sight. A wicked scheme flashed through the priest's mind. He instantly unleashed his ultimate technique, grabbing Yin by the neck and yanking him violently forward, intending to use Yin as a human shield to protect himself. The Grand Elder screamed in utter terror as he watched the ferocious beast charging relentlessly towards Yin. Seeing the beast raise its paw, claws razor-sharp like knives, ready to end his life, Yin, completely restrained by the priest, couldn't dodge. In despair, the boy could only scream, "Grandfather, no!" Yan's desperate cry was like a faint glimmer of light, awakening a shred of reason within the monster's mind. The beast abruptly stopped, its eyes wide, staring intently at Yan. Instinct told it not to harm the boy, because this boy once held a significant place in its heart. The cunning priest smirked triumphantly, believing his scheme had been flawlessly executed. He then launched a sneak attack on the beast. But suddenly, a sharp bone spur appeared from afar, piercing through the beast's body. Qing and his entourage were riding on the back of Jute, urgently heading towards the Yin clan. A sinister, dark aura emanated from the direction of the Yin clan, forcing them to halt. King Sanced impending danger. His heart filled with unease, unsure of what had transpired. He immediately ordered his guards to accelerate, to quickly proceed towards the Yin clan. The beast, pierced by the Qing bone spike, let out a mournful roar in agony. The priest spoke triumphantly, his voice dripping with contempt. "Just a lowly beast." He sneered. "How does it feel to have your body pierced?" The Grand Elder roared in fury. "You despicable scoundrel." The priest responded with a sinister smile. Despicable? On the verge of life and death, glory means nothing. Only power is the absolute truth. Seeing him about to finish off Yin, the beast's third eye suddenly opened wide and roared furiously. The priest was startled, not expecting the beast to still possess such terrifying power at this moment. The beast trembled violently, struggling to lift its foreleg, using its razor-sharp claws to sever the bone shackles. Its ferocious, murderous gaze terrified the priest. The beast lunged forward, delivering a powerful swipe that sent the priest flying. It wanted to continue its attack, but its wounds were too severe. Its body was gravely injured. Dian, seeing his grandfather collapse, rushed to his side, crying out in despair. "Grandpa! Grandpa!" Ru sat beside the beast, her voice choked with sobs. "Grandfather!" Suddenly, the beast lunged at her, The wounded priest, blood gushing from his wounds, was filled with rage at being so severely injured by those he considered inferior. He turned to the Lin warriors, his voice a furious roar. "What are you standing there for? Kill them all." Seeing the demonic figures charging towards them, Dian screamed in terror. "Don't you dare touch my grandfather." A Lin warrior, enraged, backhanded Ru across the face. "Get out of the way, you filthy brat. Don't block the path." They intended to tear the monster into 8 pieces. One of them sneered. "You had to resort to foul, dark magic to take it down? Looks like you Flame Tribe folks are past your prime." Just as they were about to finish him off, a member of the Lin tribe suddenly noticed a massive object hurtling down from the sky. A colossal stone pillar plummeted from above, crushing the unlucky Lin tribe members beneath it. The priest suddenly felt a wave of unease wash over him. The elder standing next to the grinding stone was also stunned, completely bewildered by what was happening. They both stared at the massive stone pillar that had just appeared. Both of them stared intently at the enormous stone pillar. At the top of the pillar, the silhouette of a seated figure slowly materialized. Qin Dian looked up, tremblingly pointing at the pillar and stammering, That's Qin Shun on the dusty mountaintop." Qin Guobao and Qin Shun had appeared atop the stone pillar. Qin, presumed dead, suddenly reappeared at the Yin clan. "Qin, you're still alive?" Yin stammered in utter disbelief. The great elder's voice boomed, laced with a hint of doubt. Qin Ke urgently prompted his grandfather to look closer, and indeed, it was Qin. "Qin, he's alive. It's Qin. It really is Qin." The excited cheers of the Yin clan echoed throughout the area. Aaron, who had always believed Qin was murdered by the Lin clan, couldn't believe he was still alive and had returned. A Lin clan member sneered. "Rescue? Him? That brat was chased by us all over Dongshan. What ability does he have to save anyone? He's only good at cheap tricks and bluffing." Seeing Qin standing atop the stone pillar, the Lin clan assumed it was just another one of his tricks. Qin was confused hearing the Yin clan members below yelling, urging him to escape quickly. The Great Elder and Kuei both shouted in unison, "Get out of here! Don't worry about us," Aaron and Yin urged, pushing Qin to escape quickly. Qin turned his head and was horrified to see the wounds piling up on Yin and Aaron. Clutching the body of the ferocious beast, Yin choked back a sob. "Qin, listen to Akui Run." Yin's voice was thick with tears. "My grandfather, they killed him. Now, only you can escape." Looking at the one-eyed, three-tailed beast in Yan's arms, Qin felt a vague sense of familiarity. Seeing Qin frozen in place, the Grand Elder frantically yelled, "Qin, run! Run now! He told you to find Qin. Qin will definitely help you." The evil priest couldn't believe Qin survived his black flame technique. He looked at the national treasure beside Qin, wondering, could that be the beast's offspring? The priest laughed triumphantly, believing Yin and Qin were doomed, and the beast would soon be his. "What are you waiting for?" A cold voice, belonging to the cruel priest, boomed out towards the Lin clan captain. The priest ordered him to eliminate Qin Yin immediately. The captain turned to consult with the Lin clan leader, then led a group of fierce Lin clan warriors towards Qin, their weapons gleaming. A Lin clan hunter pointed at Qin, roaring furiously, "Your life ends today. You won't be as lucky as you were last time at Dongshan." Looking at the aggressive hunters below, Qin's eyes flashed with a cold, killing intent. Seeing the Lin clan members charging forward, the Great Elder cried out in terror, "Qin, run!" At the same time, he and the others bravely charged forward to meet the attack. The people surrounding Qin below declared resolutely, "We'll hold them off. Qin, you need to get out of here now." The Lin clan's Great Elder appeared, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Run? Let's see how far you get." He pointed at Qin and roared menacingly, "You are unworthy of the title of brave warrior. You used despicable tricks to complete the Dazu ritual and clung to Medaka to pass the Shanhai trial at Dongshan. You rely on mere petty tricks to escape pursuit." The arrogant and delusional man roared with indignation. "The ancestral god will never tolerate such deceitful acts. Everything you've done is a grave insult to the noble title of brave warrior." He angrily summoned his totem, a gigantic wood demon that charged towards the stone pillar where Qin stood. The elder's cruel voice echoed throughout the space. He wanted to cripple Qin's legs. Finally, unable to bear the sight of Yin Qin being crippled, she squeezed her eyes shut, her voice filled with anguish. "Is this the end, great ancestor? Have you abandoned our Yin tribe?" Atop the high mountain, Thick smoke and dust enveloped everything, accompanied by mournful cries. A figure fell from the top of the stone pillar, dust and dirt billowing everywhere. Suddenly, the weapon in the Lin clan great elder's hand trembled violently, as if straining under an immense force. It clattered to the ground, disappearing into a cloud of dust. The dust slowly settled, revealing a horrifying sight. The Lin clan great elder lay sprawled on the ground, unconscious. On his chest lingered the afterglow of azure flame fire, a mark of the terrifying power that had just struck him. Qin stood tall and unscathed. An aura of mystical flame fire emanated from him, a mesmerizing azure flame with destructive power. Qin stood firm as a statue, Guo Bao clinging to his head, looking utterly adorable. The mystical azure flames surged from Qin like a mesmerizing magic show. Aaron and the Yin clan members gasped in astonishment, witnessing the unbelievable scene before them. Guo Bao, seemingly sensing the excitement, raised a paw in an adorable wave. The Lin clan members were stunned by the azure flame fire blazing on Qin. The great elder jolted awake, memories of the coming-of-age ceremony flooding back. So it wasn't a trick of the light. That azure flame wasn't an illusion. Sensing the overwhelming aura emanating from the flames engulfing Qin, Qinzi silently acknowledged that even at his peak, he wouldn't be a match. Truly a rare talent. Li's eyes widened like headlights, fixated on Qin, his mouth stammering in astonishment. Amazing. At this moment, Li suddenly realized that Qin hadn't been lying back at the Dongshan hunting grounds. This was the true strength Qin had been concealing all along. The Lin clan hunting team, Captain Pan, rushing to the side of the great elder, who had just been defeated by Qin. Seeing the great elder lying there gasping for breath, he couldn't help but shudder in fear. With a single move, Qin had taken down the great elder, something even their clan leader couldn't accomplish. He wondered how this young man could possibly be so powerful. Qin immediately recognized the newcomer as the leader of the Lin clan hunters from that day. Chased me all the way to Mount Dongshan. Qin spoke coldly. Weren't you all just clamoring for my life? Why are you all rooted to the spot now, afraid to make a move? The Lin clan captain glared at Qin with resentful hatred, but seeing the grand elder lying unconscious, he could only grit his teeth in silence. With an arrogant smirk, Qin challenged them all to attack at once, finding the prospect of fighting them one by one too tedious. The moment Qin finished speaking, the entire Lin clan warriors roared and charged towards him like a swarm of angry bees. They believed that even if they couldn't defeat him individually, a combined assault would guarantee victory. The Lin clan captain and his men swiftly summoned their weapons, unleashing deadly blows aimed directly at Qin. But before they could even graze a hair on Qin's head, he made his move. They were all sent flying, crashing to the ground unconscious. Qin stood tall amidst the battlefield, his commanding voice echoing. As long as Qin still stand, the flames of the Yin clan will burn eternally. Suddenly, a bizarrely shaped weapon materialized before Qin. Before Aaron and the great elder could utter a word, the Yin clan leader yelled in terror, Qin, be careful. Qin looked up, his icy gaze betraying no fear. The weapon suddenly struck down where Qin was standing, causing the entire Yin clan to gasp in horror. Qin nimbly dodged and landed safely on the ground. The priest's cold voice echoed, dodged it, did you? The rock where Qin had been standing was cleaved in two. The priest looked at Qin and said, you have some skill. It's a shame. You've fallen into my trap. Countless jet-black tentacles, armed with sharp weapons, suddenly erupted from the darkness, surrounding Qin. Die, the priest roared. He swung his hand, directing the tentacles to charge at Qin. Qin's eyes remained cold and unwavering. He focused all his internal energy. Qin's arm swung, unleashing a punch with earth-shattering force. In the blink of an eye, the inky black tentacles were pulverized into countless fragments, vanishing without a trace. The priest stood frozen, completely stunned by Qin's terrifying power. Before he could recover, Qin lunged forward like a raging storm, landing a thunderous punch directly on the priest's face. The force of the blow sent him flying dozens of meters, spitting out fresh blood as he staggered to his feet. This brat's flames, they can actually burn the darkness. The priest gasped, his voice trembling with pain, but still managing to speak. Qin strode towards him, his voice filled with burning rage. You murdered Big Sister Xiongju. You caused the Yin clan heavy losses. Today, I will settle this blood debt. An azure flame erupted fiercely, engulfing Qin's face. When the flames dissipated, half of his face was covered by an ancient mask, emanating an aura of dominance and majesty. Tang Shangqin's voice boomed, low and powerful. Today, all grievances will be settled. The intelligent spirit beast, guardian of the nation, sensed the rising killing intent and silently leaped off Qin's shoulder, retreating to a safe distance. The Grand Elder stood frozen, slowly shaking his head with a bewildered expression. When a clansman questioned the mysterious mask on Qin's face, he exclaimed, Is this even the Qin we once knew? The Grand Elder muttered, his eyes filled with suspicion. The priest stood motionless, lost in deep thought. On the summit of Dongshan, Qin was struck by my fatal blow, he recalled. But not only did he survive, his power has far surpassed what it once was. The flames on Qin have also become strange, completely beyond my comprehension. Nothing in this world can burn away eternal darkness. The priest murmured, his eyes filled with distrust as he looked towards Qin. Could it be? Are you wielding the power of darkness? Qin frowned slightly, confused by the priest's words. Have you received the favor of the darkness? The priest spoke with an arrogant air. We are no different. The mask you wear is surely a treasure born from darkness. Isn't it? The power you possess was awakened by it. The priest's words stirred the crowd, sowing seeds of doubt and suspicion. Had Yin Qin truly fallen to the darkness? Whispers and murmurs rippled through the crowd, filled with worry and fear. Silence! The Grand Elder roared, his voice filled with indignation and authority. Do you forget who passed the trial of Hero Aaron? Who conquered the Shanghai Challenge and brought the glorious totem pole back to our tribe? When the totem pole was coveted and stolen by other tribes, who risked their life to reclaim it? No matter what becomes of Yin Qin, he will always be one of us, of the Yin tribe. Yin stood up, his voice filled with conviction and trust. He is the hero of the Yin tribe, our Yin Qin. Yan's words were a call to arms, and the crowd erupted in a chant. Huoga, huoga. The priest let out a cold snort, his eyes filled with contempt as he looked at the crowd. Fools, he muttered disdainfully. The priest then turned, his voice dripping with arrogance and confidence. He began his tempting speech. Join us. Only eternal darkness can grant you true power, absolute power to rule over this entire world. He arrogantly commanded Qin to kneel, to submit and swear absolute loyalty to him. However, before he could finish his sentence, Qin suddenly lunged towards the priest, roaring with fury. You bastard! Qin then unleashed a powerful punch straight into his face, sending the priest flying backward. The sight of Qin brutally beating the priest left all the Yin clan members, including Yin, utterly stunned. The priest staggered to his feet and shrieked, You fool! How dare you treat me this way? He roared with rage and fury. Do you know the consequences of your foolish actions? But before he could finish his sentence, Qin lunged forward like a whirlwind, unleashing a devastating kick straight to the priest's face. Today, Qin was determined to cripple this wicked priest. Even if the Jade Emperor himself descended from the heavens, nothing could stop him. The priest watched in terror as Qin charged towards him like a wild beast. Next came a powerful uppercut, sending him flying like a rag doll. Qin relentlessly targeted his face, unleashing a barrage of punches that made the priest scream in agony. You bastard! The priest roared in frustration. A mere brat who just awakened his powers dares to lay a hand on me. He glared at Qin with a sinister voice. The endless night has fallen. Qin looked up at the night sky and witnessed in the distance a thick black fog rapidly spreading towards him. The Grand Elder saw the totem pillar erupt in a fierce blaze and exclaimed in horror, That's the flame totem. The pillar was engulfed in flames. He quickly turned to Koi and said, The endless night has truly descended, and urged him to quickly bring Aaron and his companions back. The Yin clan's Qin witnessed the terrifying aura emanating from the dark night. Everyone screamed in utter panic. fearing that hesitation would mean being swallowed by eternal darkness. The priest, enveloped in a sinister black aura, with a smug expression, mocked Qin. You little brat have just awakened your power, and you don't understand what true darkness is. Immediately, the blue flames on Qin's body erupted fiercely, radiating intense heat, pushing back the encroaching evil darkness. The priest wanted to use the terrifying power of the darkness, its earth-shattering might, to punish Qin and teach him a lesson he would never forget. Qin stood silent, his entire being on high alert, ready for battle. Suddenly, from the pitch-black sky, a torrential downpour of ink-black rain began. The Lin clan members were horrified, realizing the rain was poisonous, corroding their bodies. They screamed in agony, watching their flesh rot, begging the priest to stop. The stench of death filled the air, a harbinger of the spreading doom. The shaman erupted in a savage laugh, the sound echoing as if tearing through space itself. He waved his hand, summoning countless dark tentacles, writhing like venomous snakes. He commanded these terrifying tentacles to devour every living being on this land. The unfortunate people who couldn't escape in time were tightly bound by the jet-black tentacles, with no hope of escape. Koi was helping the severely injured chief back to the Yin tribe. The chief struggled to speak, urging Koi to quickly warn Qin to retreat. Return to the tribe immediately. The Grand Elder also turned and shouted with all his might, demanding that Qin immediately return to safety. He rushed to Yan's side, anxiously asking if the boy's grandfather had survived. The Grand Elder, carrying the carcass of a gigantic beast on his shoulder, muttered, "Born a member of the Yin tribe. Even in death, we are demons of the Yin tribe. Bring the body back. We'll figure it out later." Seeing Qin still standing outside, facing the evil shaman, Yin and Koi shouted Qin's name in unison. "What are you waiting for? Run, or you won't escape. Do you want to stay here and be swallowed by the darkness?" Yin cried out in alarm, urgently warning Qin, "Without the protection of the totem pole, we will be swallowed by the darkness." The priest, enveloped in a thick, malevolent, and murderous black aura, coldly declared, "I will destroy the Yin clan's totem pole. Let's see where you rats can run to then. All of you will become sacrifices to the darkness." Qin silently pondered. The tribe's brave warriors were all severely wounded. Even if they retreated, they would have no strength left to fight. Moreover, if this madman were to infiltrate the village, the entire tribe would be affected by the evil energy. Even the totem pole itself would be in danger of destruction. Without hesitation, Qin made a decision. He entrusted the national treasure to Kuei, urging him to protect it carefully. Qin resolutely refused to retreat, despite Yin and Kuei's pleas. He solemnly declared, "I said I would destroy this priest, and I will do it." Ignoring everyone's warnings, Qin steadily advanced towards the evil priest. Blazing flames engulfed his entire body. Upon seeing Qin, the priest sneered mockingly, "You fool, you're all talk." Despite Qin getting closer and closer, the priest remained unfazed. He uttered in a contemptuous tone, "This is a land of dark, filthy, black mud. Don't you dare come near me. How can a mere mortal like you exist in this eternal darkness?" He was certain that once night fell, the terrifying power of darkness would reduce Qin to ashes without any effort. He struck. The brutal priest swung his arm, commanding the giant stone sword to slash down towards Qin. The clansman cried out in terror. But Qin reacted in time, dodging the attack. He leaped to the side, just as the sword slammed into the spot where he had been standing. A toad teasing a snake. Qin taunted, "What other tricks do you have, priest? Show me. Bring it on. If you can't kill me today, your name will be written backward." The priest was still muttering, "A toad teasing a snake," when he suddenly realized Qin was charging straight at him. He roared in fury, "You wretch! You're courting death. You think you can run wild just because you have some blue flames?" A colossal arm suddenly erupted from the pitch-black mud, blocking Qin's path. Seeing the stone statue general swinging a massive sword, Qin quickly leaped back to evade the blow. "You think you can escape?" The priest's voice dripped with amusement. The stone statue general let out a cold snort, releasing a sonic wave that made Qin clutch his head in pain. Seizing the opportunity, the The stone statue swung his great sword at Qin. The priest laughed triumphantly, certain that Qin was about to meet his end. But in an instant, his eyes widened in horror. A vibrant green flame erupted from Qin's body, incinerating the great sword in the stone statue general's hands. Impossible! How can this be? Where did this brat get such power? The priest exclaimed in terror. He quickly regained his composure, believing that as long as darkness existed, the Wu god's power would be limitless. He wanted to see how long Qin could hold out. When the smoke cleared, he was astonished to find Qin gone. A footstep echoed from behind him, causing him to whirl around, his heart gripped by terror. This is bad. He's heading for the dark gate, the one he himself had opened. Seeing Qin channeling all his power into his arm, the priest's face went deathly pale. He shrieked in terror. "You bastard! You dare attack the dark gate!" Tan lunged forward, unleashing a powerful punch aimed directly at the gate. A violent surge of energy erupted outwards, but the dark gate remained standing, unyielding. Foolish child. The dark gate is forged from the purest dark energy. The priest sneered. You could do nothing to it. But suddenly, a gaping black hole materialized from within the dark gate, devouring everything around it, sending the Yin clan into utter terror. The priest's face drained of all color. He watched in horror as the dark gate crumbled. The gate rapidly shattered into fragments. The stone statue general, no longer fueled by dark energy, slowly melted into a putrid, foul-smelling pool of mud. The priest felt his own power draining away, a terrifying realization. He couldn't believe what was happening before his eyes. Tan's cold voice rang out. Every time you wield dark power, this gate will be the first to suffer the consequences. Qin, with his sharp intellect, quickly realized that the dark gate was the priest's fatal weak point. The damned, cursed bastard. The priest roared in boundless hatred and resentment. He bitterly admitted he had underestimated Qin, never expecting him to possess such terrifying power. But look around you. The priest's voice boomed, filled with triumph and arrogance. Qin looked around and discovered a dark energy creeping into every corner. A gleeful expression spread across the priest's face. He declared loudly, "Darkness is everywhere. Everywhere. Even if you defeat me, you can never escape the grip of darkness. All of you humans will be swallowed by the darkness, leaving no one behind. This is fate, a predetermined end with no escape." Qin stared at the priest's disgusting face. Unable to contain the rage boiling within him, he unleashed another devastating punch straight into his face. Qin's voice rang out, filled with indignation and fury. "Stop your deceitful lies. You will pay with your life." The Jaisai received Qin's powerful punch, but this time the pain wasn't as intense. He sneered with disdain. "With such a pathetic move, you think you can take my life? You're out of strength." He sensed Qin's energy was almost depleted. Proclaiming himself a loyal servant of darkness, the Jaisai declared that by entering the shadowy realm, his soul would achieve immortality. The Jaisai's body gradually sank into the darkness, consumed by the shadows. His voice echoed with malevolence. "You possess the power of darkness, yet you refuse to submit to the Wushan. You will surely face the consequences." A jet-black tentacle shot out from the Jaisai's hand. Lightning fast, it wrapped around Qin's arm. He intended to drag Qin into the abyss. Believing an audience with the Wushan was the ultimate privilege, Qin realized he couldn't escape the dark tentacle's grip. His powers seemed completely sealed, unable to be unleashed. The priest's voice dripped with smug satisfaction. "You can't use your powers anymore, can you?" Several more dark tentacles suddenly appeared, tightly constricting Qin's limbs. Watching Qin struggle in vain, the priest cackled with delight. Destroying the dark gate was an act of betrayal. "The Wushan will strip you of all your power." He stepped closer to Qin, warning him, "Don't struggle needlessly. If you want to retain your power, submit to the Wushan." Loyalty? Qin scoffed. "Wushan? What kind of demonic nonsense is that?" Qin roared furiously, channeling all his remaining strength into his arm. He unleashed a devastating punch straight into the priest's chest. Seeing the terror in the priest's eyes, Qin declared, "I'm the god of this world." Qin's fatal blow critically wounded the priest. His body, ravaged and broken, was swept away by the dark abyss. Freed from the shackles, Qin landed lightly on the ground. The priest's scheme to drag Qin into darkness had failed miserably. His enraged howls echoed from the distance. "You bastard! You dare insult a god! You will face retribution." He cursed Qin, condemning him to a life of endless torment and suffering. Darkness will haunt you to the ends of the earth. Ignoring the venomous curse, Qin slumped to the ground, muttering, "My sister's body. I don't believe in your superstitious nonsense. Science has no place for such ridiculous things." Suddenly, a blinding divine light erupted in the sky, swiftly dispelling the dark and evil night. Qin stared in astonishment, bewildered by the spectacle unfolding before him. In the midst of the air, a mysterious ship hovered. The ship's bow was adorned with a majestic, enormous ox horn. The dark energy was repelled by this strange vessel. Watching the sacred light emanating from the ox horn, shining directly towards him, doubt began to creep into Qin's mind. Could deities truly exist? Qin's body was involuntarily seized by a powerful force, pulling him towards the ship suspended in midair. Despite a vague fear rising within him, Qin gritted his teeth and thought to himself, "A true materialist like me? How can I be fooled by these illusions? Don't even try to scare me." Qin felt his body being pulled towards the boat by an invisible force. Panicked, Qin screamed, "Oh, my ancestors, protect me. Please don't take me away." Qin's backside slammed onto the deck of the boat. With a loud thud, Qin was stunned to see Jia Rong and Qing standing before him. As if waking from a long dream, Qin exclaimed in astonishment, "Here, is this a boat? Such a huge boat, and it can float in the air? More accurately, it's floating in the middle of the dark night." Qin was completely bewildered. He couldn't understand what kind of civilization this was. Everything was beyond common sense, completely unscientific. Shiru sternly questioned Qin about the reason for his appearance here. Before Qin arrived, he had sensed a dark energy emanating from this area with immense power, making the old man Shirum curious about what had happened. Hearing Shirum's question, Qin suddenly remembered his relatives who were still in the Yin tribe. He urged Qin to hurry there, because a priest was attacking the village, and many people needed help. Priest Qing turned to Shirum in a panic. The boat immediately sped towards the Yin tribe at full speed. From above, the boat gently landed on the ground. Gasps of astonishment arose from the crowd. Lin quickly recognized the symbol of the Qing man. Tribe on the bow of the boat. "Could it be that Madaka has come here himself?" he said doubtfully. The Grand Elder was surprised to see Qin step off the boat. The chief and everyone were overjoyed. That Qin was safe and sound. The ancestors have protected him. This is wonderful. Qin has returned. The Yin tribe villagers cheered loudly. Everyone quickly recognized Rum's imposing presence. Both De Rum and Madaka exuded a distinct aura. They hastily knelt and bowed their heads in reverence. Cries of Haga resonated like thunder throughout the area. The arrival of Qin, along with De Rum and Madaka, filled the Lin clan members with an indescribable unease. But no one dared to leave. They could only stand and passively await their fate. Lin silently pondered the connection between Qin and the two mysterious figures. Yin respectfully bowed before De Rum and Madaka. When Qing inquired about the name of the evil shaman, Yin quickly replied that he had been defeated by Qin. Yan's word astonished both Qing and De Rum. They couldn't believe what they had just heard. The members of the Yin clan immediately recounted the events of the battle with the evil shaman. He was even capable of summoning the terrifying Dark Gate. This wasn't something an ordinary shaman could do. Darum exclaimed in horror. Qing wondered how Qin, still not having fully awakened his power, could have defeated a shaman possessing such terrifying abilities. He summoned the gates of hell. One of the villagers exclaimed in astonishment, Qin has awakened. His azure flames burned fiercely, dispelling the oppressive darkness. Another added, their voice trembling with emotion. The wicked sorcerer attacked with dark magic, but Qin's flames incinerated it all with a single move. A third villager chimed in excitedly. Qin bravely fought that evil priest alone, confronting the demonic forces in the shadows to save us. The villagers showered Qin with praise, hailing him as the hero of the Yin tribe, a true and courageous warrior. Hearing the accolades, Qin's boastful nature emerged. Haha, it was nothing, just a piece of cake. I only used 2 or 3% of my true power. Don't praise me so much, everyone. Qin stood to the side, muttering to himself. Did he really defeat that cruel priest with his own strength? Qin rushed to De Rum's side, anxiously asking about the dark corruption wound, afflicting Yin and whether it could be healed. After careful observation, Rum realized the wound was caused by the use of a mystical artifact. The Grand Elder recounted the events, explaining why Yin had to resort to using the artifact at the cost of his own well-being. Rum immediately raised his sacred staff, purging the remaining dark energy from Yan's body. Qin was overjoyed to see Yin gradually recovering. After Rum's meticulous treatment, Rum warned Yin that for a considerable period, he wouldn't be able to utilize his totemic powers. As for the artifact, it was absolutely forbidden to use it again. Yin bowed his head in gratitude to Rum. Where is that artifact now? Rum asked Yin to recount the entire incident involving the Lin and Rao clans. The Lin and the Rao clans had colluded with the evil shaman, harnessing dark powers to harm Yin, leaving the chief and the two elders in desperate straits with no other options. The only way was to rely on the power of the ancient artifact to fight against the evil Shifu. The Lin clan leader, with a shameless face devoid of remorse, tried to make excuses, claiming the Lin clan were also victims in this incident, controlled and bewitched by the Shifu's dark magic, leading to this grave and irreparable mistake. Bai Yao, standing beside Lin, spoke with a sarcastic and mocking tone. Things have come to this, and you still have the audacity to beg for forgiveness. Don't you feel any shame? Lin, his true colors exposed by Bai Yao, roared, "What gives you the right to act so righteous? Didn't you yourself once kneel and beg before the Shifu and our Lin clan for help?" Bai Yao coldly retorted, "I own up to my actions. I'm ready to face the consequences. Unlike you, a shameless and unscrupulous coward." Qin then approached the roaring dark monster and was shocked to realize it was the two elders transformed into this horrifying state. Qin felt a sense of familiarity with their forms, but couldn't quite recall where he had encountered them before. Those standing behind Rum spoke up in unison, firmly stating that the existence of this monster could not be tolerated. DM jumped up in alarm, using her small body to shield the beast. DM's voice was filled with urgency. "No, this is my grandfather. He's just been transformed into this frightening form. He's not a monster." DM knelt before Rum, pleading desperately. "My grandfather sacrificed himself to protect our people from the evil shaman. Please help him." Rum told DM to stand up. "The two elders have been consumed by the dark artifact too deeply. I can only try my best." He placed his hand on the monstrous creature's wound, softly chanting a mystical incantation. Suddenly, the beast's eyes opened wide. Seeing her grandfather slowly rise, DM cried out in emotion, "Grandfather is alive." DM was stunned to realize he was truly alive again. He hastily kowtowed before the miraculous stone. Qin stood beside him, silently observing DM, then turned to him with a grateful look. DM sincerely thanked Qin for bringing the life-saving treasure. Qin humbly replied, "It was nothing. I just happened to know about this miraculous stone." But in truth, deep down, Qin's only desire was to bring everyone here to save the entire Yin clan who were in grave danger. Clan leader, the Great Elder, witnessing Qin helping DM to his feet, exclaimed emotionally, "Qin is truly a kind young man. DM treated him so poorly, yet Qin didn't hold a grudge. On the contrary, he brought back the gemstone to save his life. Qin is worthy of being our hero, the protector of the Yin clan." The members of the Lin clan, seeing the stone continuously heal the Yin clan members, were filled with terror. The two elders, regaining consciousness, were still in a daze. They realized with horror that they were still in their monstrous forms. Rum explained in a low voice, "I saved his life, but I couldn't restore his human form." DM's face paled. So my grandfather, could he be? Rum's silence confirmed DM's suspicions. The two elders, in their monstrous beast forms, raised their heads to the sky and let out agonizing roars. This is the consequence of his own actions. Rum said, "Step aside. We're blocking his path." Everyone quickly moved to the sides, making way for a dark portal that suddenly appeared. Rum gestured for the two elders to enter the shadowy gateway. If fate allows, he may return. The two elders turned to look at DM one last time, as if to etch the image of their grandson deep into their memories. Then, they resolutely stepped into the pitch-black portal without hesitation. DM watched as his grandfather's figure disappeared, knowing untold dangers lay ahead. He rushed forward and embraced the roaring beast, sobbing, "Grandfather," the heartbreaking separation. between grandfather and grandson left all who witnessed it choked with emotion. At this moment, the enormous dark gate began to suck the two elders inside. The darkness surged like the hand of death, pulling the two elders into the dark vortex. A terrifying scream ripped through the silent air. The ferocious beast was also sucked into the terrifying dark vortex. From its mouth came ear-splitting, piercing shrieks, causing everyone around to tremble in fear. Hearing the monstrous cries, Qin suddenly remembered a passage from the mystical classic of mountains and seas. The Rihuan beast, shaped like a fox, with one eye and three tails, its cries incredibly piercing, capable of warding off evil spirits. Qin wondered if this world had any connection to the mythical tales in the classic of mountains and seas. Durham slowly spoke. That thing belongs to the darkness, and the darkness will surely take it away. Qin became even more perplexed by the puzzling connection between the strange events that had just occurred and the ancient records. In the ancient book, Qin's confusion deepened when he heard Durham ask, "You seem quite interested in it. If you want, I can take you to witness it firsthand." Durham's offer terrified Qin Jing, especially when he heard Jia Rong invite him into that dark space. Qin quickly raised his hand in refusal, his only thought being to stay away from that hellish place. Suddenly, Qin called his name. Qin turned around, still bewildered and unsure of what was happening. Qin quickly told him to change his clothes and prepare for the inheritance ceremony. Qin asked in surprise, "Inheritance? Inheritance of what?" Qin immediately shouted, "The inheritance ceremony of the title of Jiayu Warrior." Qin's words stunned Qin. Qin Yin, Aaron, and the Grand Elder both exclaimed in unison, "Jiayu Warrior?" They were astonished to learn that Medaka had to personally come to bestow this noble title upon Qin. History. Lin believed that the investiture of a courageous warrior didn't necessarily require Medaka's personal presence to bestow the honor. Simply sending an envoy carrying the courageous warrior insignia to the tribe would suffice, unless it was a Yuing. Lin's sudden remark caused both Li and Yu to look puzzled. Lin went on to explain that a Yuing was a personal guard meticulously chosen by Medaka to remain constantly by his side. They fought alongside him in every battle, sharing life and death, never leaving his side. Like a protective spirit on the battlefield, a Yuing was always a steadfast shield, safeguarding Medaka regardless of the danger, bound by a pact of life and death. Yu still seemed unconvinced, as Qin was only a 12-year-old boy. How could such a child possibly become a Yuing? Lin further analyzed that Medaka intended to groom Qin for this important position. Lin's explanation seemed somewhat reasonable to Yu. Only by looking at it this way did everything start to make sense. Medaka had personally come here to establish Qin's reputation. Lin was also beginning to understand why Qin was able to awaken such extraordinary power. Lin pondered silently. The future destiny of the entire Lin clan would likely rest entirely in Qin's hands from this moment forward. The moment Qin knelt to perform the inheritance ritual, all the clan members chanted in unison, "Ancestors' blessings, heaven's grace." Blessings. Grace. Qin solemnly placed the Wandering Warrior badge on Qin's chest and declared joyfully, "From this day forth, you are officially a glorious Wandering Warrior." Witnessing the badge gleaming on Qin's chest, the Grand Elder couldn't hold back his tears of emotion, choking out, "My good child." Below, the crowd continued to roar, "Huzzah! Huzzah!" Nya and Lin were stunned to realize the tables had completely turned. The two hastily led the remaining clan members to prostrate themselves, desperately pleading for Qin and Qin's forgiveness. Nya bowed his head in humiliation. "Let those who committed the crime be punished, but please spare the innocent clan members." Lin quickly added, "We were only misled by the priest. The Lin clan is willing to make proper amends to the Yin clan." Qin, filled with indignation, spoke in a voice brimming with fury. "What about the Yin tribe members you slaughtered? Can your compensation bring the dead back to life?" Lin, speechless, hastily replied, "Conflicts between tribes are inevitable. Casualties are unavoidable in these wars." Qin roared in anger. "So, the defeated tribe must pay with their lives for the dead. Is only natural?" Seeing that Qin wasn't easily fooled, Lin desperately pleaded with Qin. They were bewitched by the shaman to commit these atrocities. "We will do our utmost to compensate." Qin's guard bellowed. "Battles between tribes have their own rules. Your tribe lost the battle. You must face the consequences. Lin's face paled, and he cried out in despair. Muda suddenly spoke. At this point, you still beg for forgiveness? Are you even worthy of being an Aaron? Nu stood up and severed his own arm, to compensate for Yan's arm, severed in the fierce battle. A horrifying scene unfolded, leaving everyone present in stunned silence before Rao's courageous, yet brutal act. Clutching the severed arm, still dripping with blood, Rao knelt down, his voice filled with anguish. The guilty must be punished. The guard turned, respectfully awaiting Qing's decision. Qing closed his eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Immediately, the guard hastily bowed, accepting the command. Lin Gue listened as Qing's guard declared his crimes. Lin, conspiring with the dark sect, your heinous crimes are unforgivable. The title of Aaron is hereby stripped from you. His face paled as he heard the death sentence pronounced, and that the execution would be carried out right there, before everyone, as a warning to others. Qing's guard directly took on the task of execution. With a ferocious roar, he summoned the totem of the earth bear, unleashing a fatal palm strike into Lin's chest. His meridians and internal organs were instantly shattered, exploding into countless pieces. Elder Lin coughed up a mouthful of fresh blood mixed with countless shards of his organs. His heavy body then slowly collapsed. The life of the once renowned Lin clan patriarch ended in the blink of an eye. Witnessing the horrifically bloody scene before her, Qing widened her phoenix eyes, her icy gaze fixed on the lifeless body at her feet. Qing, standing beside her, thought to himself, this girl is truly ruthless, her heart as cold as stone. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream tore through the air. Father, the figure of Lin Huan, Elder Lin's son, rushed to his father's side, watching the young Lin clan air wail in despair. The captain of the Lin clan's hunting squad hurriedly stepped forward to console him. Get up. Have you no shame? Acting like this? Qing's guard then turned to Rao, his voice cold as he declared. He was used by Linley, becoming a pawn for that dark GC. Rao, confess your crimes and death may be spared, but you will not escape punishment. Stripped of your rank, Aaron, you will be exiled to the desolate borderlands when winter passes. Nu bowed her head, accepting the predetermined punishment. The guards immediately obeyed the order and escorted Nu away. Before being taken away, Nu hurriedly whispered to Li, always remember, the tribe comes first. Li stood silently, watching Nu's figure fade into the distance. Qing observed Qing's guards, thinking to himself, this girl is truly cunning and resourceful, despite her young age. Qing had commanded the respect and loyalty of her fierce and skilled warriors. Guo Bao, seeing Qing ignoring him, came closer and tugged at his sleeve. Qing quickly patted Guo Bao's hand and said excitedly, from now on, you must learn to read my expressions, to understand what I'm thinking and what I want. Suddenly, Li and the captain of the Lin tribe's hunting team knelt before Qing, solemnly declaring, the Nu and Lin tribes pledge allegiance to the Yin tribe and willingly surrender the pillar totem if the Yin clan generously lends a hand, helping our people survive the coming harsh winter. The sight of two tribes, once sworn enemies, now submitting, greatly astonished the great elder and Yin. The great elder said to Yin in a deep voice, in that case, we will possess 4 totem pillars and could very well become a powerful great tribe. However, Yin was worried about their current food reserves, fearing they might not be able to support the additional people from the 2 new tribes. Seeing that Qing was still lost in thought, Li hurriedly spoke up. If you're still concerned, you could take my life at any time. I have made a pact with the ancestral god and with Qing. From now on, the Rao tribe will no longer be able to oppose the Yin clan. Yin looked at the members of the 2 tribes and said in a commanding voice, the Lin tribe and the Rao tribe have lost their chiefs and their strength has been severely weakened. Submission is your only path. The great elder also believed these words were meant as a warning to Madaka. Those 2 tribes wouldn't dare break their oath. Watching Qing desperately look to Qing for help, she coldly said, handle this yourself. She appeared to relish in Qing's predicament. Qing then asked, does your Yin tribe have enough food to feed all 3 tribes? If Qing had pleaded with Qing, perhaps she would have reconsidered. However, Qing was completely taken aback by Qing's response. Food? We have more than enough. Qing scratched the bridge of his nose, then casually continued speaking to Qing. Before nightfall, he and his tribe hunted a large amount of game. However, they hadn't figured out how to preserve it all. But now, he added with a confident smirk, I've found a way. Hearing this, Li and Captain Lin were skeptical, quickly asking, really? Seeing their doubt, Qin elaborated. Although I have a preservation method. But our current resources are incredibly scarce. Even if the other two tribes agree to submit, providing them with food would be immensely challenging. Qin felt a wave of awkwardness wash over him as he saw everyone's astonished gazes fixed upon him. Qin quickly spoke, urgently asking, do you truly have a way to preserve food? As I understand it, to preserve food for an extended period requires using an incredibly powerful type of shamanic power to seal it. Qin couldn't help but express his skepticism, doubting whether Qin could actually achieve such an extraordinary feat. Qin emphatically declared it impossible. Even if Qin had awakened the legendary flame, he couldn't possibly master such profound shamanic magic in such a short time. Qin quickly shook his head, telling Qin his thinking was too narrow-minded. Jia Deng, standing behind, then asked Qin, are you saying this preservation method doesn't require using shamanic power, and that any tribe could implement it? Qin nodded slightly, confirming the truth. Upon hearing this, the Great Elder immediately and excitedly asked Qin what materials he needed. He guaranteed he would send someone to search for them at once. Yin was also filled with excitement. If this plan succeeded, they wouldn't have to worry about food. When the long winter nights descended, seeing everyone's eagerness to search for resources, Qin spoke up to clarify. What we need is a special kind of rock salt, found only in Dongshan. By using this rock salt to cure food, we can preserve it safely through the harsh winter. Unfortunately, winter has arrived earlier than expected this year, making it extremely difficult to go up the mountain to gather the salt. Li and Captain Lin's faces paled upon hearing this. Dongshan was currently shrouded in perpetual darkness, making it virtually impossible to set foot there. Qin was startled as Jia Rong approached, his eyes carrying an unusually serious expression. The elder's deep voice resonated. This is no joking matter. Are the words you just spoke truly accurate? Jia Rong's eyes, filled with concern, were fixed on Qin. He paused in thought, then continued. Every year, countless lives are lost to the ravages of famine because they lack the means to preserve food stores for the harsh winter. The number who perish from illness after consuming spoiled food is also not insignificant. Powerful tribes rely on a few skilled shamans to maintain safe food reserves. But each year, the number who starve in tribes both large and small, even in the mightiest, exceeds those who fall in bloody wars. Hearing this, Qin fell into deep thought. In this primitive world, people lack knowledge of farming or long-term food preservation. No wonder the bitter winter claims so many lives. If you could teach everyone the technique of salting meat, it would be a monumental breakthrough, an invention that would change human history. Seeing Qin lost in thought, Jia Rong slammed his staff on the ground in a furious rage, bellowing at Qin. Do you hear my question? Answer me. Are you certain about this? Jia Rong's thunderous voice snapped Qin out of his thoughts. He hastily replied, as long as we can find mineral salt, I guarantee everyone can learn the method of preserving meat by drying. Hearing Qin's firm assertion, Jia Rong breathed a long sigh of relief. A weight lifted from his shoulders. His heart had felt like it was about to leap out of his chest from worry. Extremely intrigued by what Qin had said, Jia Rong told him to prepare himself. He would lead him into the dark lands to search for this precious mineral salt. The moment Jia Rong finished speaking, everyone present was struck with shock and fear. Fear was non-existent in their hearts, for as they all knew, stepping into that dark land meant accepting death. Countless souls had wandered into that abyss, but none had ever returned. Necessary preparations were made hastily. Standing on a high platform, the chieftain bellowed, urging the warriors forward. Members of the three tribes lined up in 2 long rows, chanting slogans in unison. The resounding cries of Haga, Haga echoed as they parted, creating a path for Qin. Qin walked, muttering to himself, just get on with it. Why all this ritual nonsense? So much pointless fanfare. Before Qin appeared a necklace made of animal bones, swaying strangely back and forth. His gaze was fixed on a shaman dancing and performing a ritual. Along with it came cryptic, incomprehensible incantations. Qin was still bewildered, unsure of what was happening, when the shaman suddenly grabbed a bowl of enchanted water and splashed it directly in his face. Though furious, Qin restrained himself. He knew the primitive people deeply believed in spirits and demons, and striking the shaman would only enrage them. Tan stepped closer and explained, "This is the deity protection ceremony, a sacred ritual performed only once a year. Only the bravest warrior is worthy of receiving the protection of the Tishan O, a mystical artifact that can only be crafted by a Wu Po possessing extraordinary powers. I requested the Wu Po to create this puppet for Qin to carry with him as he enters the perilous dark lands." Tan continued, his voice turning serious. "If Qin encounters evil forces in that shadowy realm, they will mistake this puppet for Qin himself. As long as the Tishan O remains intact, Qin will be safe from all threats." Listening to Tan's explanation, Qin suddenly realized this was the legendary substitute puppet he had heard about in ancient tales. Tan solemnly warned of the lurking dangers in the darkness, utterly eerie and unpredictable. No one could foresee the horrors that lay ahead. These words sent a wave of unease washing over Qin. Noticing Qin's paling face, Qin quickly reassured him, "You are naturally blessed with good fortune and protected by the Wu Po's puppet. You will surely overcome all obstacles and remain unharmed." However, these comforting words only made Qin's heart pound with relentless anxiety. After completing the mystical dance ritual, Wu Po stood on the high platform and, with a commanding voice, summoned Qin to bring fresh blood. Aaron cheered excitedly, shouting, "Go forth! Qin is the first brave warrior of the Yin tribe to undergo the ritual and receive the protection of the mystical puppet. Venture into the darkness and bring glory to our tribe." The Grand Elder's powerful voice resonated throughout the space. Qin steadily ascended the high platform, step by step. Around him, the resounding chants of "Huga, Huga" from the tribesmen echoed with overwhelming Qin. Qin thought to himself, "Qin lies so convincingly. She's truly unreliable." However, ancient legends also speak of similar magic. Perhaps this wooden puppet truly possesses some hidden power. Looking closely, Qin noticed two characters, Yin, Qin, exquisitely carved on the puppet. Qin thought to himself, "A tiny drop of blood is nothing," and quickly sliced his finger, letting a drop of blood fall. Qin's blood quickly seeped into the two carved characters on the puppet. The young man had just completed the blood ritual, when suddenly tiny cracks began to appear on the wooden puppet's head. The strange sight terrified Qin. In the blink of an eye, the cracks spread across the puppet's body like a spiderweb. A deafening explosion échoued. And intense flames erupted, engulfing Qin on the altar. The shaman and everyone around them gasped in shock at the horrifying scene. As the smoke and dust gradually cleared, Qin emerged with a face as black as soot. His hair stood on end, his clothes were tattered, and he looked utterly miserable. Qin hesitantly asked the sorcerer Madaka, Can we redo the ritual?" Qin furrowed his brows in anger. "Do you know this ritual can only be performed once a year?" Looking at the puppet shattered into pieces on the ground, Qin roared in anger. "Is even the heavens trying to destroy me?" Qin's face darkened further as Wu Ba and Qin tried to reassure him. "There might be a slight hiccup in the ritual, but don't panic." Qin lied without hesitation. "This is just a common ritual. It doesn't matter if there's no puppet. Perhaps you'll even encounter more luck, and your path ahead will be smoother." The great elder stepped forward and patted Qin's shoulder comfortingly. "Rest assured and embark on your journey." Qin suddenly noticed the clansmen carving stone statues. His own image appeared alongside a few others. The great elder offered an explanation. "Those beside you are the brave warriors who sacrificed themselves for the Yin tribe. They're our pride, our symbols." Qin choked, his whole body trembling, sweat pouring down him like rain. He jumped back, his eyes filled with suspicion. "They're definitely colluding to deceive me. I'm not stupid enough to believe them." Qin yelled and screamed like a fishmonger in the market, determined not to step into the darkness. Jia Deng, standing behind, spoke up. "The ritual, the puppet, is ultimately just an external force. One's destiny ultimately rests in one's own hands." Jia Rong vowed to do everything in his power to ensure Qin's safety. Before Qin could refuse, Jia Rong quickly cut him off. "When stepping into the darkness, you must strictly obey my commands." His voice was filled with confidence and authority. Jia Rong asserted, "As long as you stay by my side, you have at least a 2% chance of survival." Jia Rong's firm declaration made Qin wish he could rush forward and rip out his long beard. Despite Qin's resistance, Jia Rong held his hand tightly and slowly walked towards the dark gate. Looking at the gloomy entrance before them, Jia Rong spoke before they embarked on their journey. "Do you have any unfulfilled wishes?" Qin's face paled, and his voice trembled as he replied, "Do we really have to go?" Jia Rong immediately responded with a resolute tone. The fate of countless tribes, big and small, rested on this decision. For the greater good, he couldn't back down. Despite Qin's protests, Jia Rong firmly grasped his hand, leading him through the mystical gate into the shadowy realm. They ventured deeper without encountering any obstacles. Suddenly, Qin felt a bone-chilling cold pierce through him, causing him to tremble uncontrollably. Around them lay a desolate and ruined landscape, with withered trees devoid of life. Thick snow fell from the sky, but strangely, the snowflakes were an eerie black. Abruptly, on the trunk of a withered ancient tree, a gigantic eye opened, its ferocious gaze fixed menacingly on Qin. Terrified, he stumbled back, pressing close to Jia Rong. At that moment, a ghostly laughter echoed all around, sending shivers down his spine. The ancient tree with the enormous eye roared deafeningly. "Stay here with me." Instantly, branches like giant tentacles reached out. It charged straight towards them. Jia Dong yelled, "Look out!" Countless tentacles wrapped around the old man's staff. The strange eye on the staff recognized them as outsiders. It seemed to have lost track of time, unable to recall how long it had been since any creature from the outside world had set foot in this desolate place. A bizarre voice echoed in Jia Dong's ears. "Stay here. Be our friends." Jia Dong screamed in terror. An oil lamp suddenly appeared in Jia Dong's hand. The faint light from the lamp frightened the giant branches, causing them to recoil hastily. As the light enveloped everything, the surroundings returned to normal. The trees no longer held their menacing and terrifying appearance. Jia Dong signaled for Qin to stay close. As long as the lamp's light shone, these ghostly trees wouldn't be able to harm them. The two silently moved forward, leaving behind the encroaching darkness and the piercing shrieks that echoed throughout the space. Running is futile. You will all remain here forever, just as we can never return. Jia Rong warned Qin not to look at or listen to them. He should focus his mind and keep moving forward. Qin looked puzzled. After a moment of silence, Jia Rong answered. They were once human, lost souls wandering in the gloomy darkness, eventually transformed into these half-dead creatures, unable to live, yet unable to die. Jia Rong's words deeply shook Qin. The boy glanced at the hungry eyes behind him, wondering if he would eventually become one of them. Seeing Qin's contemplation, Jia Rong quickly reassured him. "Don't worry. If it comes down to it, I'll ensure you die as a brave warrior, not as one of them." He instructed Qin to stay close to him and keep moving forward. Don't look back. He would handle all the dangers and troubles himself. The two continued their arduous journey. Suddenly, a figure in a crimson cloak materialized behind them, as if rising from the earth itself. His eyes, sharp and cold, gleamed with a predatory intensity as he followed their every move. He muttered under his breath, seemingly reporting to someone in secret. After a long and arduous journey, they finally emerged from the haunted forest. Jia Rong looked ahead, his voice calm and steady. And we'll reach the land of eternal night. At that moment, a small dugout canoe silently approached. The boatman wore a wide, shapeless cloak that concealed their entire face. "Who is this?" Qin exclaimed in confusion. Jia Rong didn't answer directly, only instructing Qin to follow him. "This person won't harm us, but you must show them respect. Remember to board from the stern." As he stepped onto the boat, Jia Rong bowed his head respectfully. Qin quickly imitated his gesture with utmost politeness. The dugout canoe glided smoothly across the still water. Under the guidance of a mysterious man, an eerie silence fell over the space. Only the gentle lapping of water against the boat could be heard. Qin sat motionless, his eyes fixed on the ferryman. He wondered silently. Jia Rong respects him so much. Could he also be a sorcerer? I am but a ferryman, guiding souls across the dark river, into the heart of darkness. Jia Rong's deep voice signaled their approach to the threshold. Suddenly, a sea monster leaped from the depths, rocking the small boat violently. Qin was terrified. Jia Rong quickly told him to stay still and not look outside. That is the demon that rules this deadly sea. The waves grew increasingly ferocious, but the ferryman remained calm. skillfully navigating the boat. Qin cried out in worry. Will we make it through? Zizung gom fort gin. As long as the lamp in our hands is still burning, everything will be all right. But when will the lamp go out? Qin asked doubtfully. If there's no wind, the lamp won't go out, Jia Dong replied. But what if water splashes on it? Qin asked worriedly. Of course, the lamp will go out then, Jia Dong chuckled. Suddenly, Qin screamed, It's over. We're doomed. The boat is heading straight into a massive whirlpool. We're going to die. Qin yelled in despair. The boat rocked violently. A huge wave crashed over the boat, throwing Qin overboard. He plunged into the swirling vortex. Qin was unaware that, within the pitch-black water, a gigantic eye was staring directly at him. A chilling fear washed over Qin. He turned around and was utterly horrified to see countless glowing red eyes watching him. Panicked, he screamed internally, Someone, save me, trying to stay calm. Qin frantically swam upwards, towards the faint glimmer of light filtering down from the surface. It was Jiarong, holding a lantern to light the way. A hand reached out, waiting. Seeing Qin, he quickly grabbed his hand and pulled him aboard the boat. I thought I was dead. Qin gasped, catching his breath. We've passed through the sea of death. Jiarong instructed Qin to stay close by his side. When they reached the shore, they bowed to the mysterious ferryman, their hearts filled with curiosity. Qin glanced inside, utterly terrified. He realized that beneath the wide cloak wasn't a normal human body, but thousands of glowing red eyes, blinking incessantly. Jiarong quickly pushed Qin's head down, shouting, Bow your head, don't look. The ferryman faded into the night. The boat slowly sank beneath the still water. Jiarong sternly warned, Always respect everything in the darkness. Qin explained, I was just curious. Suddenly, a piece of red cloth fluttered down, landing before Qin. I didn't expect to find something like this in the darkness, he exclaimed in surprise. Jia Dong explained that it flew in from a distant battlefield. Right behind them, Qin turned around and witnessed an ancient battlefield with colossal weapons scattered everywhere. He reached out and touched his sword, feeling its majesty and antiquity. Jia Dong warned, Don't even think about taking them. Items belonging to the eternal night cannot be removed from this place. Even if you manage to take them, they'll instantly turn to dust. Hearing that, Qin felt a pang of regret. He had planned to go to the Dark Lands, find some valuable treasures to bring back. But was he really supposed to return empty-handed? Suddenly, Qin remembered the true purpose of this trip. He exclaimed, If we can't take any objects, then how do they mine the mineral salt and bring it back? At this moment, Jia Dong bent down, holding the burning oil lamp. He tilted the lamp, letting a drop of oil fall to the ground. Qin watched in amazement, witnessing the thick layer of ice and snow, shrouded in gloomy darkness, melt away to reveal a surprisingly vibrant carpet of vegetation. Qin was completely astonished by the bizarre spectacle. Jiarong immediately offered an explanation. This lamp oil acts like a sacred totem, capable of weakening the influence of darkness upon this world. The reason I brought you along is because I'm not familiar with the terrain of Mount Dongshan. Even if I used all the oil I have, I'd struggle to find the salt mine you mentioned. Your task now is to assist me in determining the correct direction. Your speed needs to be swift and accurate. We need to conserve oil for our return. Qin was lost in thought, pondering Jiarong's purpose, unaware that the old man had noticed something amiss. Suddenly, Qin remembered that Jiarong was standing right where he had once. Before he could utter a warning, he heard the loud thud of a body hitting the hard ground. Below, Jia Dong tumbled headfirst into a deep hole, muttering, Why is there a hole here all of a sudden? Qin scratched his head and replied sheepishly, I dug this hole. Hearing that, Jia Dong's face darkened, continuing on their journey. If Jia Dong hadn't been quick on his feet, his precious tea set would have been smashed to pieces by Qin's wooden trap. Not stopping there, he almost fell into another poison-laced trap that Qin had set earlier. Yet another time, he nearly lost his life when a rope trap tightened around him on a tree trunk. Continuously tormented by the deadly traps, Jia Dong became terrified and hurriedly asked Qin, Are you sure we're going the right way? These old bones of mine can't take much more of this torture. Qin scratched his head and chuckled secretly. He hadn't expected that the traps he had set would be so terrifyingly effective, giving even a seasoned man like Jia Dong a hard time. However, Qin now had a good idea of the path they needed to take. Pointing towards a large mountain faintly visible in the distant mist, he said, "Our destination is right up there." Jia Dong, with a worried frown, asked Qin, "Did you also set traps inside Dongshan?" Qin immediately replied, "Absolutely not. I only placed traps in the surrounding area." Jia Dong fell silent, a somber expression on his face as he pondered. No wonder the people from the two Lin clans want you dead so badly. Even I just now had to endure so much torment. I even felt the urge to strangle this brat. After about an hour of stumbling through the darkness, Qin finally brought Jia Dong to the entrance of Big Sister Zhu Zhu's former forbidden grounds. Looking at the two familiar, towering stone statues, Qin looked dubious when Jia Dong asserted that the dark world and the outside world were completely different. Qin spoke up. "I saw two stone statues just like these on top of Dongshan, identical to this place." Hearing this, Jia Dong immediately told Qin, "From what I know, no object tainted by darkness has ever, eerily haunted, yet retaining their original form." Jia Rong carefully let a drop of lamp oil fall, and the terrifying dark energy was instantly dispelled. In that moment, he realized the true position and shape of the two stone statues. They seemed completely unaffected by the darkness. Strange, they're not tainted by the evil energy. Could this place be very dangerous? Qin wondered, but Jia Rong couldn't offer an answer. He only said that in this endless darkness, countless things remained beyond human comprehension. He advised Qin to stop worrying, as they were running out of time. They needed to find the salt ore and return as quickly as possible. As Qin passed by one of the statues, he suddenly clutched his head and cried out. An exquisite jade piece had unexpectedly fallen and struck him on the head. He quickly picked it up and held it tightly in his hand. Qin wondered to himself in confusion. Could this have fallen from that giant statue? Qin hurried to catch up with Jia Rong. Jia Dong decided to keep everything to herself for the time being, waiting until the salt mining operation was complete, before taking the time to thoroughly investigate. The two continued deeper into the heart of Dongshan. Amidst the dark night, Tan suddenly grew curious about the strange weather. "Why is the snow falling so heavily?" he wondered. Jia Dong explained that it was winter and snowfall was a natural occurrence, nothing unusual. Their outside world was also experiencing the frigid winter season. Hearing Jia Dong's words, a thought suddenly sparked in Tan's mind. Could these two worlds exist within the same flow of time? It was hard to believe because, according to Tan's knowledge, time and space were singular and couldn't overlap. Suddenly, both of them turned their heads simultaneously to look behind them. Before their eyes was a bizarre, crimson-red fog drifting past. Tan was startled, but Jia Dong quickly reassured him. "Don't be afraid. Things flying by in the darkness are quite common." A strange bell chimed in the distance. Qin Haoqi inquired, "What was that sound?" Jia Rong firmly stated, "I didn't hear anything." When Qin insisted, he heard a bell ringing. Jia Rong angrily smacked him on the head and roared, "No, you didn't hear anything." Jia Rong sternly warned Qin, "In this endless night, curiosity can lead to your death. Whatever it is, stay away from it." Qin stood frozen, a sense of unease washing over him. Ever since we entered the heart of this eternal night, Jia Rong has been acting strangely. Has something taken over him? Hearing Jia Rong's urging voice, Qin dismissed his thoughts and hurried after him. After moving through the darkness for a while, they suddenly came face to face with a massive bronze bell. Qin exclaimed to Jia Rong in terror, "We didn't just fail to avoid it. We got even closer." Jia Rong ordered a retreat, but the bell suddenly appeared right in front of them. He warned Qin, "We're lost." And it seemed like a supernatural force was harassing them. Jia Rong reassured everyone, "As long as this oil lamp doesn't go out, we'll be safe." Qin expressed his doubt. "Are we just going to stand here? This is ridiculous. We're lost, and even Blackbeard abilities have limits. I suggest we move closer and examine that bell, because it might be connected to the imprisonment of the others." Jia Rong agreed and told Qin to stay close behind him. As Qin approached the bell, he discovered strange characters engraved on its surface. He suspected it was some kind of ancient sealing formation. Behind the bell, he saw a stone tablet intricately carved with a Bagua diagram. Jia Rong looked at the tablet and exclaimed in astonishment, "These characters, I've never seen them before. Perhaps this is a relic from the ancient Shanggu era." However, according to Jia Rong, the content inscribed on this relic seemed very difficult to decipher. Qin thought to himself, Could this just be a Bagua formation with its positions reversed? Wouldn't it be enough to just rearrange them in the correct order? Just as Jia Rong was about to use his absolute power to break the seal, Qin quickly intervened and offered to try himself. The young man recounted his experience gained at the Shanghai trials, where all his successes came from miraculous luck. Jia Rong agreed, but reminded Qin to be extremely careful. Qin breathed a sigh of relief, shedding the weight of his worries. He set about rearranging the mystical Bagua formation. His hands moved swiftly and skillfully, like a seasoned master. Jia Rong stood watch, ready to protect Qin from any danger. Jia Rong's eyes widened in astonishment. The moment Qin withdrew his hands, the ground began to tremble violently. A terrifying earthquake struck. Right before their eyes, the ground gradually rose from the surface, as if etching something incredibly strange. A gigantic Bagua formation materialized clearly on the ground, revealing itself before them. They both stared at Qin in disbelief, unable to comprehend what was happening. A profound sense of doubt arose within Jia Rong. As soon as Qin made a move, the grand formation instantly appeared. Could this kid really possess such extraordinary luck? Jia Rong exclaimed in a voice filled with disbelief. Is it really complete? A sense of indescribable dread welled up inside him. That mysterious, ancient mechanism, even he himself couldn't understand it, was completely stumped. Yet Qin Ji had solved it on his first try. Could this boy be the one destined for greatness, blessed with the legendary mandate of heaven? Suddenly, Qin Ji had a realization. The disrupted formation was the reason they were lost and disoriented within a maze. Suddenly, a resounding gong echoed throughout the space. The piercing sound made Qin Ji cry out in pain. He quickly covered his ears with his hands. Within the hazy mist, a figure seemed to be slowly materializing before his eyes. 3 stone statues of women abruptly appeared, leaving Qin Ji so terrified he could barely speak. Hey Chao, how can this be? These statues, he recognized. Their attire clearly wasn't from the Stone Age. Jia Rong felt a surge of confusion. He hadn't expected this place to conceal another mysterious civilization. Qin noticed characters etched into the ancient stone statue. He read the inscription aloud by Yun Qing. As Qin stepped closer for a better look, Jia Rong quickly stopped him. He sensed a hidden danger emanating from the statues. He told Qin about a powerful tribe that had encountered similar stone statues in the dead of night. The tribe had numbered over 200, all of them their fiercest warriors, but only one returned alive. Jia Rong looked at Qin, his voice low and warning. The survivor's eyes had been gouged out, his tongue severed, and even his arms had been chopped off. No one knew the horrors they had faced, nor how that lone survivor had managed to return. After hearing Jia Rong's chilling tale, Qin cried out in terror, "Jia Rong, don't try to scare me." Seeing Qin's pale face, Jia Rong playfully knocked him on the head and burst out laughing. "Of course, I was just messing with you." He advised Qin to relax and not be so tense. Qin inwardly grumbled about Jia Rong's childish pranks, even at his age. Suddenly, Qin pointed towards the stone statues and yelled, "Jia Rong, look!" He felt as if the statues were opening their eyes and staring right at him. Jia Rong didn't turn around, thinking Qin was trying to get back at him for the ghost story. Qin panicked and screamed, "I'm not lying. Those statues are really looking at me." Just then, the ground beneath them suddenly cracked open. Qin shrieked, "It's splitting." The ground completely collapsed, swiftly sending both of them plummeting into the darkness below. The statues above came crashing down as well, shattering into pieces. As he fell, Qin screamed in terror, "We're dead." Jia Rong swiftly snapped the staff in his hands. Bao Qin instantly grabbed hold of him. He spread his arms wide like the wings of a great bird, guiding them both to a safe landing. Jia Rong's voice rang out, filled with indignation. Such a treacherous pit hidden within this grand formation. Bao Qin urgently prompted, "Quickly, we must get out of here." Suddenly, he noticed beneath Jia Rong's feet a glittering salt deposit. It turned out that the drop of oil he had accidentally spilled earlier had led them to this place. Bao Qin bent down to examine it closely, then exclaimed with joy, "Although it's not much, we found the location of the salt mine." Jia Rong nodded in agreement. A blessing in disguise. As long as we find the salt, or we can return. Bao Qin pointed towards a deep, dark cave within, saying, perhaps the main vein of the salt mine lies within. He hurriedly stepped inside, urgently saying, the sooner we find it, the sooner we can return. Neither of them were aware that the head of the stone statue had fallen off earlier, lying silently in a dark corner, and seemed to be watching them with chilling blue eyes that exuded a terrifying gloom. Jia Deng and Qin continued their exploration, venturing deeper into the mysterious cave. A frigid air enveloped them, sending an involuntary shiver down Qin's spine. A moment later, a faint glimmer of light from the cave entrance suddenly appeared, catching their attention. As their flashlight beams shone downward, both of them were stunned by the strange sight that unfolded before their eyes. A powerful beam of light shot straight up from the bottom of the cave, as if piercing through the darkness. What is that? Qin exclaimed in a curious tone. Jia Deng replied with sparkling eyes. We may have stumbled upon something even more significant than the salt mine. This is a relic of the long night. Without hesitation, Jia Deng spread his wings, embraced Qin, and plunged downward. His voice was filled with excitement. Quickly, a long night relic. Encountering it is a rare opportunity. As soon as they stepped onto the dark cave floor, they were both overwhelmed by a series of ancient murals covering the cliff walls. Qin observed carefully and realized the shrine was a magnificent vaulted structure adorned with 12 massive paintings. Each painting concealed a captivating and mysterious legend. He had a feeling this relic was no ordinary find, but might hold the secret to the origins of this world. One painting depicted a bizarre monster, immediately reminding Qin of the mythical creatures from the classic of mountains and seas. Jia Rong pointed to a painting of a majestic divine beast, softly explaining that these were hints, messages from ancient ancestors. Qin was startled when Jia Rong continued to explain that this painting depicted the formation of heaven and earth. Seeing Qin's bewildered expression, Jia Rong smiled reassuringly. It's okay not to know. These stories are only passed down and kept secret within the knowledge of master sorcerers. He began to recount an ancient legend that in ancient times there existed an incredibly powerful and ferocious beast. He wielded divine power to forge a colossal axe of unparalleled might, separating heaven and earth, dividing yin and yang, and giving birth to the cosmos. From then on, all creatures and humankind began to emerge and flourish. This is the legend of the creation of the universe, the origin of all things. Qin contemplated the majestic axe in the ancient painting, wondering to himself, could this be the legendary Pangu's axe, the divine instrument of creation? He was puzzled because in legend, Pangu was revered as a primordial deity who birthed all of creation. Yet in this painting, he was depicted as a ferocious beast. Jia Deng turned the lamp, illuminating the next painting. Qin suddenly realized this painting depicted the story after the formation of heaven and earth. In the painting, countless strange beasts and mythical creatures, described in the classic of mountains and seas, came to life vividly. He was astonished by the fantastical images in the painting.